When we set up Rab, one of the first things that we did was have a repair service. People look to a Rab product, it does what it says it will do, and it performs and will last. All I knew was climbing and what climbers wanted.
We'd far rather that you reuse and repair rather than replace.
People really love their items that they've been using for years.
Which obviously brings back great memories of where they've been and what they've done.
You get so attached to these products in your clothing, and if you do a snaggy coat, we could help patch or repair that product.
The repair service is very important. Walk round the premises here and I see, washing machines going round.
Washing your down jacket is important, and it will give it kind of a new lease of life.
Machinists turning clothing inside out, repairing tears and things like that.
You go into the workshop and the sewing machines are whizzing away, and the seamstresses, their knowledge is incredible.
They also do stuff like cutting out the expedition suits and stitching all of those together on site.
You have to make the end user happy with a product. And the fact that Rab is able to offer a service that can feed into that and keep that legend going is great.
So go on our website, check out the form, give us some details, and we'll be in touch.
Hello and welcome back to Sheffield for the grand final of the Rab CWIF 2019. I'm Mike, and today joined in the studio by Mina and Gaz.
Hi.
Hi, Mike.
So the CWIF is the first event on the IFSC calendar, so it's our first opportunity to see some of the superstar World Cup climbers in action. And Mina, that begs the question, how important is an event like this for the climbers?
Well, CWIF's a really well-placed event, actually. So if you're a competitor that's interested in the World Cup circuit, especially for bouldering, it's placed really well, so you can almost have like a practice run with IFSC standard blocks, IFSC route setters, and quite a lot of interesting technical climbing to go at.
Yeah, for sure. The CWIF's a very popular event because not only have we got World Cup competitors here, because of the type of format, we start with the scramble, 30 boulders, and it means that everyone can compete with the likes of Sean McCall and Molly Thompson-Smith, which is superb. And then we switch to an IFSC format. We're going to a semi-final with 20 competitors, male and female, and then we go into the final with the 6 competitors, which we've got lying ahead of us this evening.
So speaking of the qualifiers, let's have a look back at how that went yesterday.
This is an historical competition. Since the beginning we collaborated to make it bigger and bigger, and you see the result here. And why it is in the calendar? Because the athletes are happy, enjoy this event. It must be in our calendar. Yeah.
I think it's a nice competition. It's a bit different than the other IFSC competitions because you only have 3 tries and there are 30 boulders. So yeah, it's kind of cool because you get to climb a lot.
The green one's pretty slidey, but it's just a bit humid in here, so same for everyone.
This problem, I don't think for me. More of a slab sort of person, I think. It does look like Lego, but I'm more of a Carlo sort of guy.
I think
Block's a bit easier this year. Yeah, I don't know, I've only tried a couple of the warm-up ones, so I can't really say that just yet, but I'm going to try this one. I think this is a decider.
It was a great qualifying day yesterday, and Gaz, you and I had a good go at the Boulder yesterday. How was it for you?
Yeah, well, I really enjoyed it, to be honest. It's the first time I've competed at QWIF for a couple of years, but I think the tour was a little bit softer this year, but that's better for everyone. Everyone can climb up some blocks or not fall off some blocks. But for me personally, yeah, it was really cool to be back and climbing in Sheffield and competing in the QWIF, and it was just a good job I didn't get into the semi-final because I wouldn't be here today.
Did you do the qualifiers in fancy dress?
I did, yes, but I actually kept my trousers on, so obviously I kept the fancy dress to myself.
Well, these days there's so many strong young climbers out there, and Mina, who are those sort of young, strong, standout athletes for you?
Well, I was actually really impressed with Emily Phillips. She's only 17 and she narrowly missed out on finals. And then in the men's, we had Hamish MacArthur, who's 16, and he did really well in semi-finals. I think he placed about 11th. So I was really impressed with those two.
Yeah, it really is impressive. But there's 370 athletes actually here this weekend, but only a handful realistically are trying to head to the World Cup. So let's have a look at some of those hopefuls.
So we're at the QWIF in Sheffield, the outdoor city.
My favourite not World Cup event of the year.
My favorite year was maybe the year that I won in 2016. Who doesn't like winning, right?
I'm very, very excited to be again at the QWIF.
It's a fun comp that has everything that you want from a World Cup too. It's got the setters, the high quality problems, the high quality competition. There's people from around the world, people who've won World Cups. I don't know how many people have won World Cups here, but I think it's quite a few.
The format of qualification is hard for me. It's really different. It's a lot of focus. It's not so hard. Usually you just no mistakes and really calculated.
The competition itself is really special, like this marathon format and the qualifications. You get to work out the boulders with the crew, try not to mess up too much.
Qualification's a little bit different to the normal IFSC World Cups. We have 30 boulders and 3 attempts at each.
And what's really nice about the QWIF is that the semi-finals and the final round are IFSC format.
So of course I think it's every Brit's dream to be in the QWIF finals and to win it, but there's a lot of tough competition here in the ladies. We've got Stasha, we've got Chloe, we've got Melissa Leneve, and we've got Michaela Tracy, who always does well for us Brits. So there's a lot of tough girls here who are really, really strong.
I mean, it's hard to guess who will podium. So if I'm not gonna win, there's and Jan is really strong. Alexi, obviously. I mean, come on, he's been top 5 world ranking for like 10 years straight or something.
James Pope, and then actually, going for my 7th name, Nathan Phillips.
It's a really nice way to introduce the start of the season without as much pressure as a World Cup, especially with this year and how important the World Cups are for qualification for Tokyo 2020. So nice to be here and nice to be competing.
Well, as you can see, we've got some world-class athletes at the QWIF, and we've got some really strong British climbers as well. Gaz, what do you think of the British hopefuls?
Well, obviously we've got Molly Thompson-Smith in there, and I've got my money's riding on her to take the title this weekend. It's a real shame that Shauna didn't compete this weekend. Obviously she's still nursing a little bit of an injury and she's got a long season ahead, so I can understand that point of view. But I think dark horse, Helen Wolf, come back out of retirement, last competed in 2015 and absolutely destroyed the semi-finals, so I think we're going to see a severe challenge from her.
And talking of injuries, I think it's particularly nice to see Molly back climbing so strong after she had a really bad pulley injury. So that's kind of really impressive to see her so back on her game and strong.
Yeah, I think you've got to take a lot away from that because it does. It's a hard thing to deal with, especially if you're at the top of your game, which is where she was. But she's come back and she's definitely stronger, I think, for the 2019 season.
And on the men's side, we've got Will Bosey, who's an Olympic hopeful.
Yeah, just back from America, training camp with Shauna. That seemed to go really well over there. And watching Bosey climb this weekend as a we assume is a normal route climber, but seeing him on the boulders, it's like, wow, I mean, you are multidisciplined, and also his ability with speed as well. I mean, he's got all the tools for the Olympics, I think.
And then also Nathan Phillips, who won the qualification and then won the semi-finals. Be interesting to see if he can pull it out of the bag in the finals.
Yeah,
as well.
and 6th place in Innsbruck. I mean, yeah, amazing, absolutely amazing.
Well, a lot of those climbers performed really well in the semi-final round, so let's have a recap of that now. Over the last 13 years, the semi-final round of the QWIF is notoriously fierce, and this morning's round was no different. Young GB star Tommy Matthews got the centering going, however, with a good early start, eventually ending up in 12th position. Israeli star Alex Kazanov was out early and showed his 2018 winning form once again, finishing in 3rd. GB team climbers Rosalind Fruitney and Emily Phillips once again put in a great performance, with Emily narrowly missing out, ending up in 7th with 2 tops. Back in the men's event, German strongman and European champion Jan Hoyer displayed his insane power to easily qualify in 2nd spot without even trying boulder number 4. Michaela Tracy's back from the USA and showed her trip overseas certainly hasn't affected her level, and total psyched to compete at this highest level at the QWIF. Molly Thompson-Smith, back from her long-term injury, climbed well with quick tops of blocks 2 and 4, seeing her safely through in 5th. Belgium star Chloe Collier climbed perfectly throughout the round, especially on treacherous women's number 1 slab, ending up in 1st place. As the crowd built at the climbing works, tops started to come thick and fast. Unfortunately for young GB star Jim Pope, he narrowly missed out, ending up in 9th after his fine top on the super dynamic men's number 2. 2017 QWIF winner Melissa Leneve struggled initially and looked in trouble, but 2 quick tops on blocks 3 and 4 put the French star through safely in 4th position. So welcome back to the studio. Mina has made her way over to the wall, but Gaz, just before we cut to her, who's your pick for tonight if you ever could pick with somebody?
Well, I think I've got to have my money on the Brits, to be honest. I think Molly Thompson-Smith and Nathan Phillips, their performance in the qualifier, semi-final, Nathan's definitely dominating this field, so let's hope he pulls it out of the bag.
Unfortunately, one of the British hopefuls, Jim Pope, didn't make it through, but we do have an interview with him down at the wall with Mina.
What was that?
She said just... Okay, Jim, how did you enjoy the QWIF?
Yeah, really good. This year, qualifiers were great. Slightly different setting team this year. A few more new faces came in, and Katia as the head route setter, so that was a really cool change. And then Beta as well, sponsoring it, so we had a load of really good holds. And yeah, it was good.
Did you have a favourite block in the semi-finals?
Semi-finals, I think the slab, although I didn't do the slab, I reckon that one was my favourite. Yeah, cool style of climbing, won by Ben West, and I think only 2 people did it in the end, but although I didn't do that one, it was pretty frustrating, just kind of, it was frustrating not to do, just because, I don't know, some of the steeper blocks you might feel like maybe you're not strong enough, but as often with QWIF, if you're not doing the slabby ones, maybe it's just because you're not good enough climber or something. So
it's not really the QWIF unless it's got like a really technical hard block in it. So the other thing I wanted to ask you about was Appointment with Death, a hard grit trad route that you did recently with a little bit of a sketchy finish. What was it? How did that feel when your foot slipped right at the top?
Yeah, not too bad. I think it kind of all happened so quickly. I kind of just tried to blank it out. Yeah, there was only a couple more moves to go, so just tried to get to the top of the route quickly and get it out of the way. Yeah, it was kind of more that evening it set in maybe how potentially bad it could have been if it had fallen.
Well, we're all glad you're okay. All right, thanks for chatting to us. That was great.
Thank you.
Oh, well done everyone. Give them a big round of applause.
Hilarious. Down at the front of the wall there, the local MC Percy Bishton giving both Mina and Jim Pope a really hard time. But let's have a look at the start list then. This is the 6 women who are going to be competing tonight. Out first will be Stasha Gayo, the Serbian superstar European champion, followed by Gaz's pick for the night, Molly Thompson-Smith. 2017 winner Melissa Leneve coming out in third, and followed by the ever-psyched Michaela Tracy, the second Brit in this group of 6. Ellen Wolf, Gaz, you talked about her, a bit of a dark horse coming through to this, the young German, not been competing really internationally for quite some time, but someone who has been competing a lot this all throughout kind of the history of the QIF really, and internationally. Chloe Collier will be coming out in the first position from the semi-finals, will be climbing in 6th. In the men's competition, wow, have a look at this for a starting lineup. This is a World Cup lineup, if there ever was one. We talked a lot about what the QIF means to these athletes, but look at this list. Coming out first, Alexei Rubtsov from Russia, an absolute machine all the way through all of the seasons, 2017, 2018 especially. Sean McCall, one of the most medalled climbers out there. Alex Kazanov, gold medal winner from 2018. Will Bosey, the great British hope. Jan Hoyer came through the qualifiers and semi-finals round like it was a bunch of warm-up jugs. And Nathan Phillips, the finalist from the World Championships, will be coming out in the top spot. Gaz, what a lineup we've got tonight.
Yeah, we've got a super strong lineup actually. It is, like you said, it looks like it's a World Cup final out there. It's great to see the Brits at the top as well. You know, Nathan Phillips, semi-final round. I mean, what can you say? It was perfect, basically.
Yeah, and there we have the QIF competition wall. Just on the wide shot at the moment, we are just about to go into the observation of the boulders. Athletes haven't yet been announced. Gaz, you've had a preview of the boulders. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's the what we tend to expect from a QIF event. I mean, we've got such a good setting team down there, headed up by Percy Bishton, and we've got the international setter alongside us this time with Katja Vidmar helping out. But yeah, what a great wall and a great set of holds. Technical slab on the left-hand side, as expected at the QIF. Vertical wall on the right-hand side. The ladies are over on the right, and the men are going to be on the slab on the left this time. And then we've got some coordination jumps. We've got some really physical boulders, and speaking to Jamie Cassidy, another one of the strong setters, male 3 is brutally hard apparently.
Well, I think the route setter did actually do a storming job in the semi-final round. All the boulders did get topped in the end, women's 3 and men's 4. Only got topped by 3 climbers in total, 2 in the men's and 1 on the women's side. Melissa Leneve getting the only top on women's number 3. You can see her in the red jacket, just in the light there at the moment. But I think the route setters the boulders are looking good to start with, which is always a key element to route setting in itself. But hopefully they've got the level just right. And years gone by, you know, sometimes you win some, you lose some. Last year at the QIF, it was brutally difficult. Not many tops all the way through. But looking at this lineup in the men's and the women's, these boulders have got to be hard. Like I said, it's so close to an international World Cup scene. Look at the climbers out there, the calibre, the amount of medals that they've won, and everybody having a cheeky look around for the observation already. There's a lot of experience and a lot of tactics out there. So they do go into their observational period. If you're new to competition climbing, first of all, welcome, thanks for tuning in. This is the final round, and this is the moment where 6 men and 6 women who qualified out of a group of 20 from earlier on today have a look at the boulders for the first time. It's the first time they've ever seen these holds in these positions, and they'll go back into an isolation zone and climb individually, each having their own attempts on the boulder before swapping around and moving down the competition wall. You can see the men start on the yellow volumes here. Gaz, there's been some bit of history, especially with Sean McCall on this bit of wall in the past, and it looks like the men are straight into some horrific looking volumes.
Yeah, men's 1 is actually a relatively basic boulder problem. It's not got that many movements to it. Starts possibly facing out, facing in. It's up to the route setters to really sort of challenge the climbers by giving them a sequence, as in this boulder, where you don't know how to start it. You can see the climbers turning in, facing out. You don't know which way to start this boulder, but it is actually quite simple. There's only about 4 movements on it. You pull on in a press situation, you turn around to get a massive fat pinch and do a really powerful move to another fat pinch, and then hook for the top. It's brutal start to the competition, that boulder.
Yeah, it looks good. It gives us a little bit of an insight as to what's going down there. It's always interesting to see the pairs of climbers who work and chat together. Some of the guys who have been travelling around the world, they know each other. They're like brothers or sisters out there. It's really nice to see. See the cameramen all over the place tonight, and lots of people here crammed into the climbing works. There's always a brilliant atmosphere, a very intense atmosphere, quite different for a World Cup in many ways. I guess there's a few thousand less people, but the noise doesn't seem to be any less.
Yeah, and the competitors and the spectators are so close together, it's unreal. You can really feel the energy. from either side of the carpet. The competitors battle and screams along with the support that they're going to get from the spectators. So we're moving on now. Observation on men's 1 is over, so we move on to men's 2 and ladies 2. Back down to the far left-hand side of the wall for the men and the far right-hand side for the ladies.
So the climbers will be competing on 4 boulders tonight. You'll see them observing 4 boulders, and they have just 4 minutes individually to try their boulder. So just 4 minutes, there's no additional time. The plus format from years past is obviously no longer. Scoring is based on the number of tops that you get out of those 4 boulders, followed by the number of zone holds, zone being indicated in a flash of red tape with zone written next to it. It's a good example just up there by the QWIF sign. Securing that hold and securing it without kind of just touching it or wobbling off, just holding it nicely, and then the number of attempts it took you to get those tops and the number of attempts it took you to get those zones. We'll be talking you through it as we go along. The scores will, as always, here be up on the left-hand side of the screen as we go through. All the scores will be live. Every single attempt, every zone will come up live on the screen. You'll see that.
Very physical boulder this, for such a low angle of wall, this one on the right hand side. It's you can see there's not really anything to get the fingers behind and actually pull on. It's all pushing and undercutting and a lot of force going through the body, a lot of power required to keep the weight on the feet and hold those holds, because there is actually nothing to pull out on the wall. It's a pretty hard boulder, this one, for the ladies apparently, over on that right hand side, and that's usually where we see potentially the winner or the loser.
Yeah, there's been some blood, sweat and tears down the line on that bit of wall. It's like you say, it's a kind of really uninteresting bit of wall in many ways, but a lot of things have happened down that end of the climbing works that have won and lost a lot of people a lot of money, not to win the respect of the crowd. That look we just saw there from Stashigev from Serbia kind of said it all, really. Pretty puzzled. And sometimes, Gaz, I mean, you would have been in this position as a World Cup climber yourself, obviously retired nowadays, prefer the commentary booth, but there's a boulder sometimes that you can't read. You know, you just have to go up there sometimes and feel it out. You can get a bit of a grasp from the ground, but sometimes they're so confusing, you just got to go and feel it out.
Yeah, for sure, especially when it comes to the type of holds that are on that boulder. There's no real specific place to actually hold the hold, so you can read it you can spend as much time as you want trying to read the boulder, but at some point you've just got to get on board, and you might not actually have a sequence. You've basically just got to go with the flow and see what happens. So it looks like we've also moved on now to boulder number 3. Women stay on the right hand side. They've gone into the steepest part of this Rab competition wall, and the men are on the left hand side. Boulder 3 for the men apparently is brutally hard. It's the hardest boulder for the men, so it'll be really interesting to see if we do get a top on that boulder, but it's always a fine line when it comes to the hardest boulders.
Well, it's a fine line, certainly guessing how hard things are as well. The route setters obviously put a lot of work into these on Thursday, and you know, you can predict as much as you like, but sometimes, well, pretty much always, the climbers surprise you. And how many times the commentators have said this is going to be hard, that's going to be easy, and the climbers, sometimes it all just flips upside down. We really do not know what's going to happen here, especially with a field that's so equal in terms of their abilities. And you've got veterans in there like Sean McCall, Jan Hoyer, and guys like Nathan and Will, who are really just kind of ebbing on the door. They're pushing at the door for those finals positions at the World Cups.
Yeah, for sure. Nathan coming off the back of his 6th place in the World Championships in Innsbruck. I mean, he's onto a flyer hopefully for the start of this season, and if he can maintain that form, then that's, you know, we're going to see him on some podiums, that's for sure. Well, this boulder, the blue one, actually is also been set by Jamie Cassidy, one of the most experienced international setters out there, and he's back in the game as far as a strength level that's required to set these hard boulders. And he's on form as well as a setter, which I think is super important. And he knows these guys, he's set around these guys, and he's worked with these guys for quite a long time now, so hopefully he'll nail this boulder.
Well, it's a very similar situation in many ways in terms of the ability over time that these climbers have shown in the women's. You've got someone like Melissa Lenev, who's actually retired from competition climbing. Not totally, obviously, because she's here, but she's from the international circuit, she's retired. And then you've got people like Molly Thompson-Smith, who are really just coming into the fray now.
Yeah, it's really good to see, and it's great to see, obviously, Melissa back here at the QWIF again, and getting the invite to come over and climb for Team WOD on behalf of the Climbing Works. That's superb. And obviously she's still a very, very able climber. and demonstrated that from the semi-final round earlier on today.
Moving on then to, this is men's number 3. As we look at it, another set of blue volumes. There's not many kind of bolt-on or screw-on holds out there tonight. It's just a lot of volumes.
Yeah, this is a real tension boulder problem. So the set of 3 volumes on the right-hand side, it's only the third one, the highest one, that you use with the hand, and the 2 underneath are all toe hooks. So it's really quite a complex boulder where you maintain these toe hooks on this fan on the right-hand side of the wall and work your way over to the left to get on board the pinches and get past the zone up to the top hold. It's quite a strange problem, and yet again another boulder problem that's really hard to read the sequence.
As you guys probably noticed at home, the climbers can actually only allowed to touch the starting position. So there's 4 points marked out there with yellow tape. You can see it in front of you. They are not allowed to touch any holds beyond that point. They will be deemed an attempt if they do touch anything. And I think they'll get a strong word in the ear from the delegates here. Absolutely frowned upon. Has happened in the past.
Now obviously we're still operating under the same rules that they'll operate under in the World Cup event. So like we said earlier on, it's a great way for people to get back on the game basically ahead of the World Cup season to do an event like this, because they're going to get boulders that are very good quality set by international setters, and they're going to be able to compete with some of the people that are competing at the World Cups and just see what level they're at before they actually start the season properly.
So just whilst the route setters make a minor adjustment there on the right hand side, they're actually just taking a couple of holds off because of the slightly cramped space here and the size of the volumes they've got. We'd love to hear from you guys. Do get in touch. Hashtag QWIF 2019. You can see it down there on the right hand side. Love to hear from you as always. Keep us company here in the commentary booth.
It's a lonely place. Just the 2 of us.
Love to hear from you guys, like I say. That is certainly not a lonely place out there. They are shoulder to shoulder in the crowd. Everybody fighting for a space. A couple of beers in hand, no doubt. And what a brilliant situation it is, really, like competitions like this in the UK that are on the international circuit, but they are not World Cups. But World Cup climbers are here, and local people get to climb and watch absolute superstars. It's brilliant.
Yeah, like I said earlier on about the format, the scramble format for qualification is a really cool format, because it means you can basically be trying the same boulder problem that the world champions climbing on, or last year's world champions climbing on, and you can interact with these people, and when you actually see beginners climbing with World Cup competitors as well, and the relationship between them and how friendly they are and how happy the really good climbers are to give beta, I mean, it really just shows you how great a sport climbing is, in all honesty.
Not too far away from the start of the competition now.
People, first competitors will be getting their boots on, making sure they've got enough chalk to hand, getting that liquid chalk on the fingers. I mean, obviously this final now has got a lot of lighting on it, so that's always something that the route setters have got to take into account. Is it going to raise the temperature of the building? It looks like we're about to get underway. We've got the first competitors just walking onto the mat. Alexi and Stasha making their way to the start of number 1 boulder. Alexi gives a wave to the crowd. Percy makes the announcement.
So the lights come up on the first boulder as the start of the Rab CWIF 2019 Grand Final, and 2 very experienced and very, very strong climbers out first. Alexi rips off, like Gaz says, and Stasha Gale. Let's see what's really in store for this horrific shouldery looking men's number 1.
Alexi was pretty close to getting into that as an undercut. Stasha nails that 1-2 around the corner of the arete. Good start for her, straight onto the first zone in the bank.
I think Stasha Gale kind of struggled a little bit to get through the semi-final round cleanly, but in the end she did, and she's potentially in for a top here. Early top from Stasha Gale. Perfect start. Athletes are all in isolation, very close to the end of the competition wall, and they'll certainly know what's going on there. What I was about to say is Stasha is really a favourite to win here with so many medals under her belt already.
Well, and that's a great start for the European champion, Stasha, to flash that block. 5 more competitors coming up behind her, knowing that she's flashed that first boulder, knowing that it's possible, but also knowing that they need to flash the boulder as well to stand a chance further on down the line.
Talking about somebody who's won an insane amount of medals on the international circuit, the Russian Alexei Rubtsov is all over the zone hold there at the moment. He's really fighting fully on board. Toe hook underneath and toe hook on top. This is looking really good now for Alexei.
That was some pretty cool manoeuvres there. Toe hooking under the volume, toe hooking where his hand was. Those pinches are absolutely terrible. It takes some severe pinch strength to hold on to those. Brushes are in, doing their job. Get that excess chalk off. Still got lots of time on the clock. 2 minutes, 10 seconds to go on this first boulder. Alexei just taking his time before he pulls back on. Quick replay, just showing his high point. Obviously, Alexei got the zone on that attempt. It's a good start.
Yeah, Alexei Rubtsov, previous world champion. So much experience, just 30 years old. You would have thought if anybody knows how to run down the clock in the perfect amount of time before their final go, it's going to be Alexei.
Another final brush. He knows he's taking his time. He's already got the zone in the bank, so he doesn't need to rush too much. He needs to have one really good go. Alexei's back on then. Just see those terrible screw-ons on the other side of that volume from that angle. Solidly through there. Back onto the zone again. Straight to the same method he had before. Toe hook. Heel hook coming in underneath. Toe hook again. This is looking good from Alexei now. Come on.
This is where he fell last time and does drop it again. Just got to match that volume. I believe Gaz move out to a finish hold out on the right.
Yeah, you've got to take that release, and that looks, I mean, that we know that volume from setting with them ourselves. It's actually quite a good volume that he's going into there, but the steepness of that side of the wall and obviously the release from those toe hooks, no footholds, it really does look like a hard move to hold, and then he's got to get the feet back on, match the hold, go for the finishing hold.
Pressure's really on here for Alexei Rubtsov. 20 seconds left. That's a very short amount of time to get this boulder done. Is it going to happen? It doesn't. He bows out of the first boulder. He's not very happy with his shoulders and his back after that. A brutal start to the competition in the men's. Really physical. Hopefully he hasn't taken away too much of a tweak there on the right hand shoulder. Competition continues though. Next pair out, Molly Thompson-Smith and Sean McCall. Gaz, you were saying that Molly's really one of your favourites to potentially take away the win here. I think that's really going to come down to the style of the boulders potentially. She struggled a little bit earlier on in the day in the semi-finals round, as we saw on the slab. Ended up taking a few scalps there, but when it comes to the more powerful stuff, Molly was really on form.
Yeah, obviously Molly's normally a route climber, but obviously her bouldering level is super high because she is a very strong route climber as well, climbing numerous 8Cs and stuff in Spain over the winter period, just on little holiday trips. But I think if the boulders actually suit Molly, then she can do really well on them.
So our first real good look after Stasha's quick top flash for her at this women's number one. Nice little jump round the corner into a pair of shoulders. Molly looked quite good there, kind of got the distance but needs to be much closer to the wall.
I think she was initially just trying to fathom some sort of way to get that left foot on the starting hold as well, rather than just pulling on and committing to the jump straight away, and then that jump she made didn't seem like with 100% behind it.
Well, a really hideous start here for Sean McCall as well. This push into this upside down shoulder hold looks really grim and must be desperately hard to try and warm up for backstage. You know, isolation has got plenty of boulders on it, but you don't really expect to come out to something like that. Sean McCall is pushing it out now. Looks like he's got the flip really nicely now, and the next hold is the zone. This is looking much better for Sean.
Solid onto the zone for Sean. Looking like he likes that pinch, that's for sure. Might do a bit better if he got his feet on, but he's still going strong. This is looking good.
Sean McCall, an amazing athlete over the years. Looks like he's still got something left for us. Can he hold this release now? Oh, so strong. That was really impressive. Holds the release on that little crack block hold as well, and it looks like we could be in for a top here for Sean McCall. That is really, really impressive.
Yeah, that's really good. Really impressive.
Love to
First
see
top.
that move back. That was brilliant.
First top. Molly down on the mat there again. Not quite getting that 1-2 round that arete. It's completely blind. Those holds just tucked in behind the volumes, behind those blocks triangles, so you can't quite see them. You see them really late. Cunning trick from the route setters. Gives people a little jump and a jump that you can't see what you're doing.
Just whilst Molly is resting, just we were saying about earlier on in the semi-finals about who's doing what at this time in the season. It looks like Sean McCall is peaking pretty early in the season. He looks dangerously strong right there compared to Alexei.
Well, I think Sean's gone off the boil a little bit in the last couple of seasons, but he's still such a strong climber and a very, very fit climber. So if he can get through the earlier rounds, when it comes to some of the finals, he can still be going very strong.
This is the replay of Sean, and look at that, just the campus up to the slot. That was so impressive. Alexei really struggled to hold that left-hand pinch. Sean actually ended up spinning around and matching it, which maybe gave him a little bit extra. Took the feet off eventually, and that ended up doing the trick for him. Sometimes feet off is the way.
I stood under those pinches. They look absolutely terrible.
Molly not really getting the distance here at the moment. She's obviously got the technique down, and she's taking a lot of hard falls in the process. But with 40 seconds left, Molly's got quite a bit to do here.
Yeah, good angle now. You can see how blind that is around the corner. He's actually getting towards the holds now, not quite on top of them.
She's having a laugh out there, guys, but realistically, she's not very close to this, I don't think.
No, not at the minute. But these jumps, you just keep trying them and keep learning them. But I don't think she's going to have enough time. One more go.
7 seconds. This is more for a zone point than anything else, I think.
So close.
Really disappointed with that.
Well, she's still smiling. That's the most important thing. At the end of the day, it's only the first block. There's another 3 boulders for Molly to come. So you've got to keep positive.
Well, that's it. I mean, you can't win a climbing competition on the first boulder, but you can go a long way to losing it. So let's see what the effect of that is for Molly. Next climbers are out, though. Melissa Lenev from France on women's number 1, and Alex Kazanov after a really impressive semi-final performance on the men's.
I fell in the same way that Sean did on that first move. Just seemed to go a little bit too quick into the shoulder and then lose the balance backwards. Mel showing some class there, nailing that boulder around the corner. Obviously Mel's a little bit taller than Molly.
It's a good angle of this right-hand side of this women's boulder. She's currently slightly wrong-handed at the moment, but has got a good heel hook, so hopefully she can use her strength to make that work. She's the only climber to top women's free earlier today, and the crowd's really supporting Melissa here. Nicely done. Interesting at the bottom there, Gaz. I just noticed Molly was jumping with her left foot really high up on that left-hand side. Melissa kept her foot much lower, which seemed to just put her in a better position to jump around the corner. At some point, maybe
Molly
we'll have
did
another
try
look.
both, actually. She did some jumps with the foot high and some jumps with the foot low. The first attempt was with the foot low. She tried to put it high, but couldn't actually manage to get it on. Alex struggling to get into this shoulder at the moment. Mel's probably going to burn a bit of a time up as well now after that. She was on that boulder for quite a long time. Upside down, back to front. Alex is back on board, men's 1.
Oh, this is not what he wants. Come out so psyched for this competition, but struggling to get into the start. That must be pretty soul-destroying in many ways, Gaz. Has that ever happened to you? Just come out and you just can't really get off the ground?
Yeah, that's happened a few times. But, I mean, it's always going to happen. There's always going to be a boulder that doesn't fit, doesn't work for you. And you've just got to, as soon as it's over, you've got to put it away and move on.
Let's have
2's
another
next.
look at Melissa's feet then. She's keeping her feet really low on those black volumes. Obviously, she's slightly taller. It's where Molly's left foot went up high into the yellow hold. And Melissa, I think that's a bit of nerves there. She can clearly do that move because she's just done it. But I think that kind of, when you know you can do a boulder, all of a sudden you get a shot of adrenaline, I think, and you kind of forget all about the move that's previously just gone by.
You try and do it easy, or you expect it to be easy next time, and then you get back on it and you go, oh, okay, that was actually quite hard.
Yeah, you forget you're in the QWIF final all of a sudden.
Alex trying a different method. He was just trying the face-out method there. Obviously, we've seen it done now.
Interestingly,
with it facing in by 2 people.
With his hand, he keeps going up and holding that as a thumb catch rather than a sort of shoulder hold with the fingers backwards. He hasn't really tried that method yet. He just keeps going with the thumb and he's not really making any progress. Melissa Leneve, on the other hand, with 1 minute, just over 1 minute remaining, sticks the jump. That's her third attempt, and hopefully this time tries something a little bit different and can get it done to match Stasha's top.
This looks a little bit more positive. Going the right way this time.
Keep going, come on.
Oh, good effort there, good throw. She was in two minds whether to go for the heel hook or the big throw.
Yeah, superb save for that top hold. She really didn't seem to be enjoying that right hand pinch for a minute there, but in the end she just kind of boosted for the top just before she fell off. Nice little secure of that top volume.
Yeah, she had to go for that really. She tried to put the heel up, couldn't get it there, and there was only one thing left, and that was to go for it. Alex back on, men's one. Let's see if we can get this shoulder right. No, he's still going into the palm.
Just getting nothing out of this first move. Looks like he could walk away without even doing the first move really here. Trying something different though. Alex was saying it's good for him to come here, but at the moment he's really not kind of in the physical shape you would expect for this level of competition. He's just kind of seeing it as a bit of a leveler to see where he is at, ready for the season. Using it as a training opportunity. Not that that's much good training for you though, I don't reckon. Just standing around at the bottom of the boulder, rubbing your shoulder.
Rubbing your elbows, rubbing your shoulder. Replay of Mel from block one.
Got the sequence move. Really down that time and just exploded to the top. That was nice. Still got it.
Yeah.
Out next then, Michaela Tracy. Great performance from her in the semi-final round. The usual fireworks. Hopefully we'll see plenty more of that tonight. And Will Bosey, Gaz's hope for tonight's final.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting seeing him on this because this is, you know, some serious power involved on here. Just kicks his own hand. Let's see. Come on, Bosey.
Straight into the same hand position as Alex, and it doesn't look like you can really slow that down enough to actually use it like that. It's only with the shoulder hold that it can actually hold that position before it's just exploding off. But Michaela's going high feet here at the moment, does drop it back down. Doesn't look completely comfortable in there. Definitely winning the hair awards this weekend.
Yeah, somebody told her that the tour and the QWIF final was going to be set in blue holds, so she went out and got the hairstyle for it. Bosey's trying facing out method. Don't think that one's working. It's great to see two Brits out on the mat at the same time here with William Bosey and Michaela Tracy. Michaela's back on. Little peek around the corner. Yes, nicely through. Zone located.
Opting for the high heel and busting down right hand, but she's got to go up again and does, and is looking really strong here. Watch out front row if she tops this. Come on, Michaela. Just faded out on that top move. It's such a high foot, that, Gaz, to be able to pinch and then fire off that right foot. Looks really hard.
And she looked a little bit like in two minds as to how to do it. She sort of pulled into the arm, pulled into the bicep, and then needed to spring out of it and just didn't get the distance off it. Well, back in the world of confusion of men's one, do I or do I not face out?
Yeah, he's in the pain cave here at the moment, isn't he? Alex Kaznov's pain cave, he just doesn't know what to do.
This looks a bit better. Oh, he's managed to hold the thumb.
Oh, it's desperate.
Got to turn it around and get the fingers in there.
He's pushed himself into a position of semi-comfort, but it's going to be really hard to get out of it to actually make progress here. Ends up with the hands around the right way now.
Yeah, I'll be happy now. He's on a little hold. On a little crimp. Upside down. Oh, no, it's the wrong way up for Ravenstar, so no.
His body looks so compressed in that groove, to be honest. He's one of the bigger guys in the final. Interesting to see someone like Jan Hoy when he comes out at, I think he's 187 centimetres tall. Will Bosey can't be much off that. It's looking so cramped in the corner there.
1 minute 15, Michaela's back on, Boulder 1. Comfortably around the corner again. Straight into the heel. She knows what she's got to do this time. She's already been to this point. She's already been to the last move.
Got there much quicker this time as well. Has she got the power for this top move now? Looks like she's calculating again.
Yeah, come on, Mickey. Come on, Mickey. Come on, Mickey.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
You can see the difference in the arm angle then. That first go when she got there, she pulled in, bent the arm, and then tried to jump out of it. That time she just kept that arm straight and rotated up on it.
Yeah.
Perfect.
What a difference a go makes. It makes so much difference to your understanding of the move once you've been up there once already and felt the hold. So difficult to flash boulders, do them first time. Michaela Tracy clearly learnt what was wrong there on the first go. Absolutely dialed it in for the second go. Actually third go in the end for her. So slipped off early on. Will Bosley talking about slipping off. He's getting nowhere on this.
Don't worry. The closer you look at that hold, it won't get any bigger. He's trying to look for a trick, trying to look for some more holds, and they're not there. Shrugs his shoulders. Can't find any.
I mean, they are yellow, I suppose. You never know. Let's have a look at Michaela then. Looking really on form this weekend, to be honest. She's looked strong all the way through the qualies and the semis. So much power on that top move. I think she's got something special in line for tonight, really. I think she could do well here.
Big man Jan Hoyer out for the men.
Ellen Wolf from Germany out in the women's.
I know, it's great to see her back on the mat here. 2015 was the last time she competed.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost been so long that I was asking around in the isolation zone this morning, just kind of who knew what about her, and it was all a bit of a mystery, to be honest. So it's great when something like that happens. Dark Horse comes through. Looks like we've got a German onslaught now. It's a pair of Germans out. Having said that, Jan Hoyer spends most of his time in the climbing works these days, right here in Sheffield.
Yeah, local boy nowadays. He's even going to apply for one of those blue passports, I've heard.
So Jan Hoyer using his time up quite quickly here, a minute without really pulling on yet. Just trying to find it. He knows that this boulder's been topped both by McCall, just McCall, excuse me. So he knows he's got a bit of competition on his hands here. Gets that hold around the right way, and look at that shoulder and back strength. Horrendous looking position. A bit of a foot slipper, but I think he will be fine on that, and I'm looking forward to seeing if he gets those next pinches, if they can stay on the wall or not. I think he might rip those clean off.
Yeah, I think he also knows that if he can get through this initial shoulder section, then the upper section is going to suit him. It's more his bag, but
I think that's
big
maybe
man in a little space.
Why he's taking his time over this first section, I think. Helen Wolf just struggling a little bit with this first move. It's really hard to know what to predict about Helen, really. She's not really been on our radar, as it were, at all. So we don't quite know what she's up to, but we know she's having a bit of a storming weekend in Sheffield. She also gets along with the style here at the Climbing Works.
Quite a tall climber. Doesn't look too much of a jump for her. Seems to be going a little bit too slow, though, there. She's not really jumping into the lock or anything. She's going to a straight arm, and
yeah, she's really rolling around the corner.
Ripping her hand off.
Yeah. And Hoyer back on. Time is a bit of an issue here already. Just struggling to get that hand around the right way as well. Oh, I really feel sorry for these guys' shoulders. The left shoulder just wobbling all over the place in that groove. If they can get away with this without any injuries, they're doing well, I reckon. And this is not really what you need just before the season starts, I don't think.
I didn't actually ask who set this block, but I predict it's the Enigma. Little man in small spaces. That was a better go from Helen Wolf. Very close.
Remember, guys, if you do want to get in touch, hit us up with the hashtag CWIF 2019. Love to hear from you. Where are you watching from around the world? Who are you supporting? Hopefully everybody's supporting this man, Jan Hoyer, because he is in trouble right here on this boulder. Oh, he's fighting so hard. Right leg going all over the place, but does seem to get into the right position now. Oh, you see how much he's fighting there. He knows that this top bit's going to suit him, but in the meantime, compatriot Ellen Wolf is at the top and is looking for a top. Oh,
so close.
Desperate.
Dropping the same move. Again, that top move. Seems it's basic, simple, but it's a big one. Are you back on again?
Slightly dubious start there. I wonder if the judges mark him down for that. Should be okay though, but he's desperately running out of time and he's given up. I think Jan's going to be pretty disappointed with that. Ellen Wolf, 20 seconds left then. What she got for us? Looking so fluid at the moment. Flick of the left leg. Fingertips again. So close. Heartbreak Hotel off the top hold.
Hopefully that's not going to affect her further down the line for looking for and chasing for a podium position.
Let's have another look at one of Jan's best attempts. It was all about getting that left foot over to the starting left-hand volume. He did get it in, but just fumbled through here. You see the fingers dropping out. Body was twisting all over the place, and this is the... Oh, God, you can't get much closer to the top than that. Absolute heartbreaker. Just going to go back to the isolation zone. Pretty disappointed with that, I think. Two climbers, still to come out.
There he is, Nathan Phillips. Just the climbers being held at the moment on the mats before they get to climb. Not too sure why. Maybe there's a little issue with the timing system.
Technical delegate there, just telling Nathan just to stand down for a second. Does seem to be an issue with the clock.
It'll be interesting to see Nathan on this. We've had one top. Sean McCall's taken a strong lead already on block 1, but Nathan, top of the tree from the semi-finals, so let's hope he can do something.
Yeah, I mean, I struggle to remember exactly when it was, but I think it was the round when Sean McCall won here at the Quiff, but there was a boulder very similar in its awkwardness and its weirdness as that one that Sean's topped, and I think that must have something in the back of his mind. He's been in this pain cave before. He knows what he's got to do. And I think that's going to help him quite a lot here. And obviously the size of the move must have helped him. Sean is a pretty short guy in all sort of terms. Lots of competitive climbers are pretty small, but he is one of the shorter athletes. Maybe that helps him, or maybe he's just on super form. I mean, when he was pinching up those volumes, he's obviously got the strength as well as the form.
Yeah, of course. He looks super strong on that boulder, that's for sure.
Let's have another look at it.
Here we go.
Look at the way he just campuses up between those two pinches. So good. But to be fair, there was only him and Alexi who actually got that high, so it's hard to know how hard it is to hold those pinches. On these guys' terms anyway, everybody else has got no chance. In the women's competition, kind of going by form a little bit at the moment. Also, we've got Chloe Collier still to come, but Stashageo up the top there with a flash. Super experienced, but retired Melissa Lenev, topping 3 attempts. Same for Michaela, topping 3. We are just pausing at the moment, trying to figure out what's going on with the clock. Wouldn't be a climbing competition without a broken clock.
Hopefully this isn't going to mess with the mind for Nathan. Here we are with Melissa, just in the jump round the corner, and that big move to the top. Very solid there though, very solid. That was great.
Trying to re-establish his satellite connection with NASA.
So we're still waiting to see what they've got the problem with here on the mat, but it does look like it is a timer issue. This is not really nice for Nathan and Chloe to be in this sort of position just sat on the mat. I mean, they are raring and ready to go, and at the moment they're only getting cold.
Let's have another look back at a couple of the earlier attempts whilst we wait for this to get sorted. Michaela Tracy, third attempt in the end for that top, overly powerful on that top move in the end. She didn't really have too many issues with that at all. It's great to see Michaela back on form, isn't it?
Yeah, and she's always happy, and she's always gone in for it with a big smile on her face and a lot of screams and stuff. But yeah, it's good to see her back in the UK actually, and back in the Quiff and performing as well. She's looking very, very well with it, and yeah, super psyched.
I think the challenge about this situation right now is for Chloe Collier and Nathan Phillips. They've obviously been warming up, timing it ready for their ascent or their attempt over their 4 minutes, and now they've just got to take a pause all of a sudden, and that's just come out of nowhere. So they don't know exactly when they're going to be pulling on. They've got to try and stay warm somehow. It's tricky, but these day and age, how can there be problems with clocks? There's plenty of people out there who do a good timing system.
I've got one on my phone actually.
Have you?
Yeah. It works really well.
I've got one of those sand timers, that works quite well. We can get that out.
Wakes me up every morning, my phone. Unless I forget to plug it in, which is maybe what they've actually done. They've got to plug things in so they've not got any batteries on the stuff.
Wind it up, maybe.
Go old school, yeah. How did your qualifier go, Michael?
Well, I have to say, I've actually come straight from Fontainebleau straight to the climbing works. So
Very similar.
I was really good on horrible slabs, but had no power whatsoever. And I'd eaten a lot of croissants whilst I was away, so that didn't help that much, to be fair. I did actually really enjoy it. I've been trying boulders at the QWIF since the very beginning. I came here to the very, very first QWIF back in the day when you were taking away the gold medals. And it's always good. It's good fun. It's good banter, good vibes. And this is why a lot of people come here, is to just kind of see their mates once a year. Just kind of, it's the whole scene. It's not just this. It's not just getting out there and trying hard boulders. It's about having a beer in the evening with everybody and kind of getting amongst it.
Sorry to interrupt you there, Michael, but it looks like we've got the competitors standing. Nathan's back up on the mat on his feet, so hopefully we are going to restart. No. Timer down yet again. Yeah, this is definitely going to be a bit of an issue for Nathan.
Yeah, stood up.
I really hope it
down.
isn't going to be a bit of an issue.
This is not really fair on the competitors. Well, we'll use this opportunity to say, let's hear from you at home. Get in touch, #QWIF 2019. Let us know what's going to happen after the clock's fixed. What do you think? Who do you predict is going to take away the win? Sean McCall's already found a top on men's #1, the only climber to do so. In the women's competition, Stasha looking really good to hear this evening already. Early top for her, Melissa and Michaela. I have to say, depending on the rest of the boulders, like I said earlier, you can't win the competition on the first boulder, but you can go a long way to losing it, and hopefully Molly hasn't done that, and same for the German Wolf. I hope she hasn't done the same. As you had a good look at the other boulders, I'm guessing it's not going to be a procession towards the finish line now.
I mean, obviously we've got a really long way to go for this competition, and we've got some, I mean, apparently men's 3 is the hard boulder, but men's 1's anything to go by.
Which one's the easy one then?
Oh my, I don't know what no, it's the final. There isn't going to be an easy one. There's no, doesn't look like there's an easy boulder on this tour. Sometimes you always get the hard boulder and the boulder that everyone's going to flash, but it doesn't look like they've given that. You know, it looks like they are going to start the event off with a real stern challenge. So, you know, we shall see.
So just whilst we're getting the clock fixed, we do have our reporter Mina, who's down at the mats.
Okay, so I'm really sorry for the technical issue, but it's just been fixed, so we're back on.
We're back on now.
Well, that was short and sweet. It did break up the action a little bit.
Nice to see Mina again, wasn't it?
Yeah, we miss her over here in the studio. Nathan Phillips is back on now then. Straight into, look at that, straight into the right hand position straight away here. Nathan, the crowd's actually no doubt going to get really behind both of these climbers, Chloe and Nathan now, because it's such a tough situation. Puff of the cheeks for Nathan as he pulls through this bottom section, looking really strong.
That's a really good start. Onto the zone with the right hand. Solid on that. Looking for this heel underneath the volume. Amazing progress at the minute. Still on this boulder #1 after such a long wait. Crowd's giving him some support now.
Big support for Nathan Phillips on this top section. Looks like Chloe Collier's found a top, and somehow Nathan has saved that release. Thought he was off there just like Alexi, but it looks like Nathan Phillips could be in for a top here if he just finds this top move.
One hand. That is so amazing. After such a long wait, sitting on the mat with all those thoughts of that first boulder going through his mind, he's managed to pull it out of the bag and get a flash of boulder #1.
That was good. Hopefully we'll have a look back at Chloe's attempt as well. She's flashed boulder #1. Also amazing for her just to come out after that big wait and flash the boulder. That's awesome. We are going to be moving on to boulders #2 then.
What a challenge that was for Nathan to sit there for, I don't know how long that was. That was like, God, it felt like it was going on for 10 minutes then. But yeah, he held it together. Percy was in the auditorium taking the mickey out of him, keeping him happy. Now we're almost ready for men's 2 and ladies 2. Men are going to be over on the left-hand side. Ladies are over on the right-hand side. We're back with the replay of Nathan just holding this release. We saw Alexi struggle holding that release, but Nathan managed to stay on. One hand on the top. 2. Crowd goes wild. He's a happy man with that. And like I said before, men over on the left-hand side. Alexi rubs off. Ladies over on the right-hand side, and we all go for block 2. Timer in the bottom right-hand side of the screen.
Really interesting starting position here. You can see the 2 stripes of tape out on the left, and I think Alexi's confused here already. I'm confused, to be honest. Into a toe catch. Gaz, you've been down there. What's the method?
I have no idea. all they said to me was this is quite a hard slab. And it actually does look like you can pull on both directions.
Yeah, it looks like to me you've got to get a little foot lock under there on the right-hand side.
Yeah, that's one possibility. But the big challenge with that is it's this dual texture holds, and all the textures underneath the holds, not on top.
Speaking of confusing boulders, women's number 2 then, Stasha Gao after a flash on number 1. What can she make of this? Oh, she's on fine form here in the finals this evening, working her way up these volumes. Can she hold it together and put herself in a fantastic position going into boulder number 3 with 2 tops, 2 flashes potentially. This is still her first go, and she's absolutely cruising here at the moment. Heads for the top, no worries at all. Just got to hold it together for the match. Nicely done, Stasha Gao. Thumbs up.
Great start from Stasha there for boulder 2. Another flash.
Men's tour is confusing at the moment, to say the least. There's a lot of guys standing on the floor.
This is pretty common on this left-hand side of the QWIF wall. It's so hard to set slabs at such a high end. Really hard to set slabs because they can be either possible or impossible, and it's such a fine line on these boulders.
That looks like a really interesting method there. Just tap the right foot just as you hit the start position, flick it into a toe. If that's the method, that's amazing. Can you make it work?
Great top out there from Sasha on the replay. This looks a little bit better from Alexi. Managed to make some progress here.
Such heel power, pushing through his heels there to keep the right foot on. Desperate to see he's pushing and pushing and pushing on that foot. Heels dropping lower and lower, really splatting across that volume. And just desperately trying to hold on. Balance on more than anything else. That's a new term in climbing. I've just come up with balance on.
Balance on, balance off.
There he goes, drops into that toe hook. That's actually a really cool method. Interesting route setting. Use that to just bring the body round, just avoid the signs. And then stand up. You know, classic stand up on the QWIF slab. 38 seconds remaining only for him.
That looked a slightly better method to just stay on that right foot and go up into the shoulder press.
Does look good, but that classic thing, the more you stretch on a slab, the more chance there is of the foot to slip. Heels start to rise up, the more you overstretch. Massively frustrating start here. Judges got to keep their eyes on this. Got 20 attempts already. Every time he pulls on, drops the second foot off the ground, it's a go. It's 21 attempts. If it comes down to attempts later, that's a lot of them to add up. Looks like Alexi's out of time.
Could be a perfect split of this boulder for the field.
Yeah, we'll have to get our clocks ordered here because we've heard the beeps in the background, but the clock on the screen's gone to 0, so I'm guessing that's a 1 minute, just under 1 minute left for him. Alexi's confused. Timing saga continues a little bit here. He's not impressed, I don't think. he heard the beep, which was the 1 minute beep. It was actually out of time.
Definitely going to have a technical incident here with Alexi. I think we're going to see Alexi back onto this boulder for another attempt for sure. But the guys down, the technical guys down there, seriously going to have to get this timing system sorted.
See, they're just pinging off there as he went stretched into that undercut hold. Just see the foot lifting. He was confused as soon as he dropped off there. What would probably normally happen here is a technical will be called, which means when the climber comes back on, they can be given extra time. But it looks like the delegates have put their foot down and said, no, your time was up, off you go. It's going to be an interesting one, that. But, I mean, maybe in the interest of the event continuing, it's a bit harsh for Alexei, but they will get on with the show, and it's going to be on with the show with Sean McCall. Top for him on men's number 1. Let's see if he can figure out this starting position. It's not going to work like that, I don't think. No, I mean, the route setters have measured that really well, I think. You can't reach from a toe and a hand down to the left and a hand down to the right. Molly Thompson-Smith, on the other hand, let's see how she gets on with these horror show volumes. Can she copy Stasher and get a quick top? Not that quick, unfortunately. Sean will try that method again. I think the chalk down there on the right-hand side that Alexi's left on that volume is potentially quite confusing for the athletes. Sometimes you can sort of read a bit too much into where the chalk is and where it isn't. On the right-hand side, though, Molly is struggling.
Yeah, we didn't actually get to see the start of this on Stasher's Flash earlier on, so it'll be interesting to see what Molly does and how she gets through that start. Sean's back on with men 2, trying to, well, sort of on. He's not started the boulder until he's touched that left-hand hold with his hand as well.
Interestingly, I'm not sure if you heard it over the ambient sound there, but the local MC did just say Sean trying it a different way to Alexei, which might be a bit of an insight. Depends on how closely Sean's been listening to that. I'm not pretty sure he's not allowed to say that, but we'll see. He's just measuring it out at the moment, Sean, just figuring out what the earth he's supposed to do with this. Got to try something different here. 2 of his 4 minutes pretty much used up here already. Sean McCall is throwing some shapes on the wall. That will get him into the start position, but it'd be amazing if it does anything after that.
You can hear the in-house MC, Percy Bishton. I think it's what's called taking the mickey. And if Sean is quick enough with that, he will understand that he's actually doing it the wrong way. Molly still struggling with this first move on female 2. And Sean McCall struggling with his first move on male 2.
Yeah, it's looking like Alexei actually did really well to figure this out. Did get the zone hold in the end, was secured. Sean McCall's back where he started pretty much and still none the wiser. Just can't find any position to pull on at all. Got to try something completely different because that doesn't technically work, I don't think. Not impressed here at the moment, Sean McCall.
Real pair of confusers for these 2 athletes. This female 2 does look very, very simple, but actually is proving a real challenge for Molly just to get past the first move. Still another 40 seconds to make some progress, but Molly's not done the first move of her boulder and Sean's not managed to pull on his boulder over on the left side, but we know Alexei managed to get on board.
Sean just not finding that start position. There is 2 bits of tape on the left, but there is a 4th bit of tape out on the right. That's why you can't start 2 hands on the left, because you can't do anything with the hold out on the right unless he uses it a foot like Alexei did. And it looks like Sean McCall, with 14 seconds left, has potentially found a method. Maybe not. Sean McCall, absolutely no idea what to do, and unfortunately Morley didn't make any progress either. Not much action on that rotation, that's for sure.
No,
see what Kazanov can make of this.
Super interesting to see there. You've got two absolutely world-class athletes just totally bamboozled by these two boulders, one of which has already been managed to pull on, the other one has already been managed to flash. It's so interesting to see the difference between the athletes there.
Amazing. Someone of Molly's strength can't follow a flash from Stasho. It's, like you say, Gaz, it is a fascinating game.
It's so varied. Everybody's strengths are so different. See what Melissa makes of this. Alex straight into the same method that as Alexi started with.
Alexi and Alex are actually really good friends. They pretty much travel the world together as bros on the scene. Let's see if they've been chatting at all in the isolation zone.
Yeah, I'm sure that's probably happened a little bit, yeah. This is actually quite a hard start to judge.
Yeah, judge is not happy with that.
Yeah, pulled him off. Dropped into that toe hook before he'd actually managed to match the start with the two hands, so.
That's the chief judge actually overriding the local judge there. Oh, that's so hard to judge because he just tapped that hole before his foot went up into the undercut.
Melissa also struggling over on that right-hand side. This is a good position for Stasha to be in now. Laid down some real dominance on these first two boulders, two flashes.
I think Alex Kazanov has got the general understanding of what he needs to do here. Pretty sure Alexi actually stood right foot on the volume first before tapping in with the left foot, but Alexi has this insane body strength. I think it was kickboxing that he's a previous sport. He's got this incredible body strength that actually comes to the rescue quite a lot.
Definitely not a man to have an argument with.
No, you wouldn't want to see him in a dark alley, I don't think. Whether he's made the right start position or not, you give it to Alexi.
Well, he's made it through the first move. He's actually managed to start the boulder.
Judge is not happy. I think he's basically saying you've got to control the hands. That is the rule. The hands must be in control before you can make further progress. Doesn't really matter what the feet do as long as they're touching. But his foot keeps flipping up into that undercut, which is not allowed. So can he make a controlled start? What constitutes control on the back of a dual texture holder? I'm not really sure. That's where the rule book kind of gets a bit interesting. Melissa's having a good time though out on the right. Looks like Alex is trying something different now. It's sort of like, I'll try it, but I'm pretty sure it won't work. So
I'll shrug and then just step off.
Can he get control this time without wobbling? So that's the hand controlled, but just as soon as he drops a foot, the maths doesn't add up and he wobbles off.
It also looks like a challenge of the range of movement and control you've got in those shoulder blades as well, to be able to bring that right hand down and get the match on the first hold. Like, he's really struggling to get that shoulder through. I mean, you can see why. I mean, you're absolutely massive. It's just pushing him out from the wall.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those moves that the root setters would have put a lot of time into, and they had a lot of time to figure out the real subtleties of the movement. And sometimes in 4 minutes, when you're first just come out, you've got no idea what to do. That does work for Alex now, though.
That was the closest, yeah.
It's one of those moves, it just takes a long time to figure out. As Melissa Leneve is in the background, the judge is not happy with her either. What is going on here? The climbers are not happy. She's not happy and she's going to run out of time. She wants to carry on. She could appeal it, though. They might have to have a video replay of what was wrong with Star. She just jumps first. She's just having a laugh. Doesn't care anymore.
What a player. Just loving it, isn't she?
Yeah, Judge was all over that one straight away, pulling her off the wall, didn't get into the correct starting position. She seems to agree, though. Bit of a circus here at the moment at the climbing works. I'm sure the serious element of the competition will continue any moment.
Posey's got his game face on.
This is where the judge is just saying no, basically didn't start in the correct position. She obviously felt like she did, or just wanted to protest just for the hell of it.
Almost in two minds about going on there, then just jumps off with a big smile on her face. That's great to see.
Bosie then, what can he make of this start position? Can he figure anything out? So he actually pulls onto the slab to start with, and then he's going to bend down. Can he make that body position work without tipping off? There's absolutely nothing on the top of that hold, dual texture. Pretty sure that will be the start. They give it to him into the toe catch. Will Bosie, obviously a bit of a demon on the slab. Seems like if you can figure out this start position, this next move isn't too bad. Let's have a look. Oh, just to say that, standing up into it, just slips off. So Alexi's foot slipping on that quite a lot.
Good start from Michaela there. Managed to get across into the third undercut on those Enigma volumes. Still plenty of time left for both climbers. It's 2.5 minutes.
Bosie brush in hand, doing the fine works himself. A lot of climbers like to make sure, even just psychologically, that the hold's clean. You can see that right foot just tucking away behind the right hand side of that volume and then desperately pulling down. You can just feel that through his ribs from here. Such a horrible start.
One of those moves where you need that lower lip rib removed. It'd be a lot easier.
Too much anatomy to do that move.
Is that allowed in climbing?
Guess not. Guess so. I don't know.
Yeah.
Why not?
I don't think it's in the rules as something illegal to do. Yeah. Get some ribs out, lose a bit of weight as well.
Let's see what Michaela can do on this bottom section then. This time she gets through those moves. Oh, Michaela fires into the zone hold. This is looking really good for Michaela Tracy here. She's already up into second position. Can she follow Stashes then? Top of this boulder. Got to flip these volumes around now. Working really hard to get the body position right. Can she get a top? Yes. Just got to get that second hand up and get it in control. Michaela Tracy gets it done.
Happy again, Michaela. That's a great top from there.
You can see the flash at the top of the wall there. That's something's being tested here at the QWIF by Technative Solutions on behalf of the IFSC. Flashing light at the top of the wall, indicating a top so the crowd can see. I like it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's linked straight through to the score. The scorecard down by the judges. As soon as they press top and give them the top, the system updates on the scoring on our screen, and then the light flashes on the top of the wall as well, all at the same time. Technology, eh? It's amazing.
Amazing. Better if it had fireworks out the top of the wall.
Yeah, better if the clock works as well.
45 seconds left then for Bosie. He looks so promising on the start of this, but it's just sliding on that bottom volume at the moment. See him get into that starting position again. Each element of this starting position, the foothold, the toe hook around the right, and the match, all so tenuous. He's actually getting through it quite easily, but he's only got 21 seconds remaining. 15 seconds now, and he's got a lot of work to do. Not even really sure if he secured the zone hold properly there. They haven't given it to him yet, so he would do well just to reach up and get that zone hold. The zone hold's so important these days.
Getting a little angry with that foothold.
A squad of brushers move in to try and bring that into some condition. Let's have a look at Michaela here. If you didn't spot it, check out the light on the top of the wall. That's a new thing for the IFSC potentially. Hit the top. Michaela Tracy on such form here. Gets the control. Boom. Jan Hoyer then, would you say, Gaz, not a big fan of the slabs all in all, I wouldn't say.
No, but I mean, he's going to have climbed a lot of boulders on this left-hand side of the wall now, so hopefully he's got his eye in a little bit on the slabs. We shall see. Maybe he'll fit it a little bit better if he gets into the start position, then that reach up to the next two undercut holds will work quite well for him.
And then Wolf does well through that bottom section. We've seen athletes, both Stasha and Michaela, once they get through this section, they pretty much end up finding a top. Good power up to that volume into the zone hold there. Let's see if Ellen Wolf can find a top now. Joining those two at the top of the leaderboard. Classic set of opposing volumes here. Just got to flip them around the right way. It's a little bit
better. Oh, the bottom part of the volume is obviously quite good, which is the zone, and then the top looks like quite a tight little crimper as well, so quite hard to get it and spin the body around to load it. Back over on the left-hand side, man on the mat looking at a slab. It's a pretty common theme at the moment on this boulder. Let's see what he can do. Good flexibility there from the big man, Jan Hoyer.
Let's see what he can make of that right foot.
Nails that screw hole.
Screw hole, yeah, nice. I think he will make good progress on that. I think the route setters are really challenging the judges on this boulder, because what constitutes as a controlled handhold position on that left hand hold, I really don't know, because one hand's in control, the other hand's just tapping it. Whether that's constituted as control or not, who knows?
Maybe they just set it as a tester, a judge tester.
Keep the judge on the toes. They've got to start the season as well. I mean, I guess he is controlling it. His movement has stopped, and he has just paused on that hold. He's obviously happy with it.
Here we go again, back on board.
Look at, watch his right finger straight into that screw hole there, crimping it down. Oh, just slips on that foothold again. That volume must be awful. It's already pretty slabby, that section of wall, but to not be able to stand on it on a volume on top of that slabby angle must be desperate. Maybe the conditions on that volume aren't great.
Back in again, 1-3-2, left on the clock. Helen Wolf back on board. This move before, she did it quite dynamic. A quick pop across and catch the left hand one, flip the right hand, seems to work quite well. Jan's making good progress again now. I think his reach is leading him up the blind alley there, where he can almost reach that left hand of the top two undercuts we can see on the screen. And it's not quite working for him. He needs to go, I think, into that shoulder on the bonus. 1 minute left.
That's what you're saying, guys. Let's see if he can push up into that zone hold now. Just not happy, not finding the right method.
From Alex's goes earlier on, we saw him reaching off that undercut and then just going all the way into that zone hold with the left hand, really putting the weight through that right foot on this bottom volume.
Trying something a little bit different this
looks
time.
A bit better. Jan's got the length for this, but not the rubber.
Oh, it'd be a tough judge to see who decided if he gave him the zone hold on that one or not. Doesn't look like they hasn't given him control on the zone. And then Wolf, on the other hand, just struggling through his bottom section. That's a real disappointment considering how high she got up on one of her earlier attempts. Super technical set of number 2 boulders.
Yeah, it's really interesting seeing the division of the ladies on that boulder number 2 there. It's either a top or a total shutdown on the first move. That's pretty much what it looks like. Mr. Phillips out on the mat, climbing at his very best at the moment, that's for sure. A flash on the first boulder, the only man to flash the boulder. Sean McCall took 2 goes. So let's hope that he can put this boulder number 2 to bed. Chloe over on the right hand side. Nathan just trying that toe up, getting to the start. Controlled touch. He's off. It's interesting seeing the shoes he's got on for this. This is like the older model of the Furia. Very, very soft, very sticky shoe. He just stepped up both hands, both undercuts. He's got the bonus, got the zone, I should say, with the right hand there.
This is big now. If Nathan can find a top here, he puts himself in a brilliant position going into the second half of the competition.
Oh no, I've just seen the finishing holds upside down again as well.
This is it for Nathan.
Definitely not a jug.
Can he push through those feet now, find some sort of hook potentially? There's chalk on the right-hand side of that finish hold. This is amazing from Nathan Phillips. Gets it done.
Absolutely on fire, that lad.
That is flying. Brilliant work from Nathan. Only climber really to do absolutely anything on that boulder. Made it look like a different boulder to everybody else. Flashed it. Nobody else really could get off the ground. That was brilliant. We talked a lot about Nathan Phillips in the pre-show, and it looks like he is on form. Big smile on his face. Chloe Collier, on the other hand, is out on number 2 still. Let's have another look then. Let's see what the difference. Just pounced 1-2 into those undercuts, and so much force through that right foot. Potentially, as you said, Gaz, about the shoes. The right shoe choice could have been crucial on there. And a little bit of
the right rubber and a soft shoe, I think, would work really well on those volumes. And that's what he went with. Went for the softer shoe. Still down on the right hand side. We've got Chloe back on again. Good to see her to the top of this boulder as well. 3-way battle, she does. Just really struggling. That seems like the hardest move to get onto that second segment. That middle of the 3 upside down volumes. Still a bit of time. We've got 1:15 on the clock. She's got time to do this. This initial section is quite slow, but the top seems to climb quite quickly. Come on, Chloe. Back on.
Chloe's got a real fight on her hands here. Try and join Michaela and Stasher at the top.
This is looking better.
Does hit it that time across the shoulder. You can see the force going through that upper body across the back of the neck. Just as she hits that into perfect compression. Let's see what she can do at this top section. Fighting hard as always, Chloe Collier.
Quick look round to see the clock behind her. She's got 20 seconds. One more move to do. Quick chalk. Running down the clock. Let's hope she can get this
close.
transfer.
Really close. She knows it now. She's moving really quick. All of some 5 seconds. Got to go here. 3.
Oh, dropped it. I think she just spent too long on that volume chalking up, having a look at the clock. It was 22 seconds when she looked over her shoulder and then set off with only a few seconds to go and had to basically rush the last move. Didn't quite hit it.
Desperate. Let's have another look at Chloe on this bottom section. That's where she hit it. Grimace to the face. And then this top section, like you say, Gaz, I think that she had to rush realistically to do it in time and just went for it really, really quickly as she had to. She was under 2 seconds before she even got to that top hold, and then all hell broke loose really on the top move.
So the guys, the route setters back on the mat there, just taking those volumes that they took off earlier on. They're just putting them back on the wall. What do you think to the start of the final then? 2 boulders in, 2 more boulders to go.
Yeah, super, super technical so far. Really interesting. That was a sort of really technical section there on both men's and women's. Really kind of tenuous, hard to watch in many ways. There's definitely a couple of standout athletes.
Well, top of the tree, Nathan Phillips, Sean McCall at the moment for the men, and then for the ladies we've got Stasha Geho and Michaela Tracy.
So down at the front of the wall we do have our reporter Mina, so let's go down to her now and see what she's up to.
Okay, so we're halfway through the competition this evening. It's been pretty exciting so far. We're taking just a 5-minute break while a few volumes are changed around. And so we're going to go back to the studio now, and Mike and Gaz are going to chat about what's happened so far. Then you're going to come back to me, and I'm going to take you through the last 2 boulder problems that are going to be the kind of penultimate showdown of this evening's competition.
We're back in the studio as we've got this quick 5-minute break out there, a break from the action. To be honest, it's been almost slow action so far, and sometimes these competitions have a bit of a slow build-up, but a really technical start in both the men's and the women's competition.
Well, I mean, super slow and super fast. It's like one moment nobody's getting anywhere, not able to do the first move on the boulder, and then suddenly somebody's just coming along, Nathan Phillips on that second boulder, and he's just walked up to the top, made it look like about V2.
Yeah, those slabs sometimes are just so so interesting. But just looking at the scores here, Stasha Gayo is currently leading the way, and that's not really a surprise, I would say. She's kind of, if there was a favourite, you could pick one. You know, it's hard to say early on in the season, but just going kind of by the form book a little bit with Stasha.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you've got a European champion out there on the mat, and she's definitely showing that she's worth that title. On cruise mode at the moment, Stasha.
Yeah, but close up behind her, Michaela Tracy also has those two tops. And Michaela's one of those climbers, you know, she's made World Championships finals before. She's that good, and she's kind of out there. And you never quite know what's going to happen with Michaela, but she's on Stasha's tail.
Yeah, I mean, she climbs with her heart outside her body there. You know, it's really all emotion, basically, for her. And obviously she's in a good place at the moment. And when anybody's in a good place, you usually climb well. You just feel good on the boulders, and she's smashing them out at the minute.
Yeah, I mean, there's 2 boulders down, but there's still 2 to go. And 2 other climbers also got 1 top. It's Chloe Collier, who we just saw there on the final attempts on her second boulder, and Melissa Leneve, who unfortunately got called off that boulder due to an improper start. And with 2 boulders still to go, it's not over.
Boulder number 2 could have a massive influence on this final. Obviously, Chloe just dropped that last move. I think she was a little bit too slow on the last hole, chalking up, looking round at the clock, and then didn't quite set off, didn't realise how many movements it was going to take to actually get to the top of the wall, and then just went for it and fluffed it. And you know, that could have a big impact on the final results. And Melissa Leneve really struggling as well with that technical incident there and getting called off the boulder. I mean, that could have big ramifications later on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't want to dwell on this technical incident too much, but it has happened. It's happened at World Cups, happened at Meiringen last year. It's a tough situation for the athletes to have to deal with.
Well, and the judges as well at the end of the day. I mean, it's the judges who've got to make that call, and yeah, they'll be like, "Ooh, I've got to stand up and pull a World Cup athlete off there. It's Melissa Leneve." And but hopefully, you know, they made the right decision. And Melissa was still smiling. You know, she's here she's here to enjoy the climbing at the end of the day, here to enjoy the Rab CWIF. So yeah, she certainly looks like it.
2 more climbers who we've not mentioned, no tops for them at the moment, Ellen Wolf and Molly Thompson-Smith. We thought maybe, we're talking about it a little bit in the pre-show, a bit more from Molly Thompson-Smith potentially, but not got on with the boulder so far, a jump and a slab.
Yeah, well, my money was on Molly, to be honest, and well, we've still got 2 boulders to go, so when you sort of take a look at the history of finals, the first 2...
So there we are, Alexei Rupsov making really good progress already on men's number 3. First climber out is looking solid. Fighting away on these new Axis volumes. Good support for Alexei. Really didn't get on with that second boulder, but he's kind of found something that can really get his teeth into a lot more here. Oh, and he spins off as well. We saw that with him on boulder number 1 as well. Just losing the rotation, but Stasha Gayo is on number 3, and if you get to top here, she's going to be hard to beat, I think, really.
That's a very interesting method through that. It was looking, when I spoke to Rich earlier on, it was looking like a 1-2, a little jump out into the zone there, but I don't think she'll get given that zone.
That was a very brief run back to the commentary box we had there. There was supposed to be a slightly longer break. We were just lining up some great stats, but I had to leg it back to the commentary booth. Nobody wants to miss Alexei on a set of pinches that lap. And then the favourite, Stasha Gayo, just struggling a little bit at the moment on the bottom of women's 3.
Alexei was struggling right at the end. He did really well on that men's 3. Apparently this was the really hard boulder, but one man's hard is another man's soft, and Alexei seemed to be very happy on those volumes until he got to that last move. So he's going to run the clock down. He's already got the zone on his card, so first go to that zone. He's going to run the clock down a little bit. He's got 1 minute 54 and he's back on to boulder number 3.
It's a good angle there. You can start to see what Alexei's up against. These new Axis volumes, so much power. I think you kind of called it right, really, Gaz, just saying how difficult this boulder is actually supposed to be. We saw it in the observation. Roots has talked about it, and Alexei, one of the strongest climbers in the world on this style. Currently sitting in 3rd position with just 3 zones. That's how few tops we've seen so far. Nothing to the scorecard of the 3 athletes below him, Alex Kasnov, Will Bosey and Jan Hoyer. Let's concentrate on Stasha then as our first really good look at women's number 3. Super physical in the corner there on the shoulders. Stasha looking so strong here early on in the season already. See what she can make of this next section.
That's certainly not going to suit all the competitors, that method that Stasha's using to get out that corner. She's definitely one of the tallest climbers in this final.
Drops into a nice bit knee bar though. That's what she didn't find last time. She fired up to that zone hold slot before. Can she get out of the knee bar though? Getting into it is one thing, getting out is another. That looks good though from Stasha. Got to roll over to this pocket, probably with the other hand though. She probably knows that, but went up to it anyway. Using a lot of power here, but Stasha, but this will put into a really good position if she can find a top. And just comes off the top with 30 seconds left. I think she's going to be out of time.
Alexi back on board on men's 3. Back on the zone. Big move though to this last finishing hold. Let's see what he can do. Looks like he's found a different body position this time.
He's got a massively complicated sequence through here.
That left foot just popped off that volume. Gives a bit of a wave to the crowd. He's going to step back off the mat. Take his rest. Got the zone in the bank though. Three zones for him. Made good progress on all 3 boulders, but not managed to get any tops yet. He's sitting pretty well there in 3rd place at the moment.
Yeah, 3 zones. He can't win the competition now, unfortunately, because Nathan's already got the 2 tops. Alexi's best he can do is 1 top and 4 zones. Could still get a 2nd position if he gets it within 2 attempts to beat Sean. Looking unlikely though, unfortunately.
Be interested to see Molly on this boulder now from Stasha, who's one of the taller climbers. Can Molly actually press into this, or is she going to have to go for the jump? Yeah, it looks like she's going to have to do the little 1-2.
Yeah, she looks like a little, almost little triple tap there. Drop the left hand out to that big black hold, tap it in and then go again. It's not the method we saw from Stasha. Let's have a look at Sean McCall though. Currently sitting in his 2nd position. He's going to want to be challenging Nathan there with those 2 tops. What it must do to the athlete's mindset to really get nowhere on a boulder than for another dude just to come out and walk up it. Oh, superb from Molly.
For the route climber method.
There's obviously a little jib there underneath that volume to help with the feet walk through. I think Molly might have the right method here. Feet first. Read it perfectly. This is absolutely brilliant route reading from Molly Thompson-Smith. He's got to switch those hands around now, but is in a toe hook as well. Super interesting 3D climbing here from Molly Thompson-Smith. Nice work from the route setters. Oh, just loses the feet.
Little slip there. That'll have taken a bit of power out of her. So she just needs to see if she can get this knee bar in.
Ends up with the hands around the right way. Molly Thompson-Smith showing her fitness here and drops into the knee bar. Being a route climber, she could rest there for a good few minutes if she wanted to. Not got the chalk bag with her though.
And probably recover really well.
This is the next move then that Stasha fell off. That's exactly what Stasha did. Is Molly going to try and match it, or is she going to try and flip it around? Such an insecure move going up with the left hand. Really awkward body position, really crossing over your chest.
Yeah, the setters were saying this is a really hard and awkward move where you've got to stab into that pocket. Takes a lot of accuracy and a lot of power. After seeing Sean on Boulder 1 on those pinches and looking super strong, I was thinking he was going to be in with a chance on men 3, but he's really struggling to hold that 2nd volume. Lexi made good progress on there. Sean struggling. Molly in with the brush on her 3rd boulder. Just started into the 2nd half of this Rab CWIF Final 2019 here in Sheffield. A real start to the World Cup season, this CWIF event. One minute 10 on the clock. Sean getting ready to pull back on men's 3. Crowd getting behind him. No, he just can't get his head round that 2nd volume. Molly back on board in the route climber mode.
Really liking this boulder at the moment. It's really good to see these complex 3D moves. Really challenging the climbers' route reading ability as well as their strength. This time, surely Molly knows that sequence now. She's got plenty of time. She could take a little rest if she needs it. And she's got to get that move up to the pocket sorted. Just looks over her left shoulder at the clock. This is what it's going to come down to now. Molly Thompson-Smith could get onto the leaderboard here. She's really cruising these early moves. Oh, and just misses the pocket.
I thought she had the method then with that right toe underneath that fat pinch. There's a lot more control, but not controlled enough. Sean back on men's 3. Really struggling with the match there on that hold. A little cheeky.
Cheeky oh, he's out of time anyway. the curious climber in him wanted to have a feel, see if there's anything else on there. I went to B for Sean. Still in second place though, with his top of men's number 2. Really low scoring round in the men's at the moment, kind of similar to last year's.
Yeah, very similar. We'll see what Alex can make of this. This is quite basic. Hopefully it plays to his strengths. We shall see. Men's 3 underway again for Alex.
Oh, they've actually got something to pull on this time rather than the slab from before. Alex just really working the pinches on that volume. This next move looks heinous. Really slopey pinches, the foothold not quite where you want it. Melissa Lenev, on the other hand, is really into the meat of women's number 3. Arms all over the place, crossed over, but seems to be getting through them without too many issues whatsoever. Let's see what she can do on this top section.
Backwards heel.
She had a good think about the match there on that pocket for a second. Looks like she's going to go with the rollover. Nicely done from Melissa Lenev.
Blind pocket now. Oh, nailed it. 3 fingers straight in there.
Oh.
Adjust.
Yes, that was awesome from Melissa Lenev. Puts herself straight up into second position with a flash. She enjoyed that one. Actually had some holes to pull on for once.
That looked like a good trick with that right heel. Really allowed her to seem to tuck the hips in and pull the hips in. The toe hook that Molly used before, and the hips set out a little bit from the wall, I think. Mel found a great method there.
There's 2 minutes 20 on the clock, and Alex needs to do this. So we can have a share and screen that.
Still loads of time for Alex. Gets to the top of this body. You can see from that angle how bad those holds are. They're so slopey. So slopey.
Kazanov in training mode here at the QWIF. This is pretty good training. Good to get on a new set of volumes that are kind of pretty new on the market as well. So it's good training just to experience some new holds as well.
Yes, come on, Alex. Come on. Good, come on.
This is the move. Getting nowhere really. Alexi's attempt on that is looking really good at the moment. Secured the zone hold. Kazanov has got the zone in the 3 attempts that he's used already.
This is one of those problems that's really hard to gauge, I think, for the setters, from when they've set it when there's nobody in this centre, and then in the competition now there's a good few hundred people sat in there, there's a spotlight on the wall. That temperature is going to be completely different. A real challenge to see if they've got this absolutely right, see if somebody gets to the top of this boulder.
Always such a fine line.
Well, yeah, but looking at the way Nathan Phillips is climbing at the minute, well, we might see some magic.
Let's hope so. I think we could see some more tops on women's number 3 as well. Before that though, let's have another look at Kazanov on this move. Can't really find anything else special there. There's no other holds, but he's using the ones that he's got and he's doing well. Kazanov is up to the zone now. He's been here once before.
That was good, and then the heel just blew. That left heel popped off that volume.
Crowd want him to go in for another go. This would be seriously impressive if he could find a top now.
You have to climb this a bit faster than the last go. He's back on though. Always smiling.
You can see him, he's puffing pretty hard now.
That's it. Taps out, big smile on his face. He's enjoying himself.
Brits are up next. Let's have another look at Melissa here. Good stab into that pocket. And this top move can't be underestimated because it's another 3-finger pocket. And she actually hit it right on the edge of her fingers, but it was strong enough on the left hand just to bump it into a good match. Boom, fist bump. Kind of miss Melissa Lenev on the International World Cups, really. She always put on such a good show.
Yeah, she's quite an emotional climber. You know, she really shows the smiles and the enjoyment when she gets to the top of that block. You can really see that she just, you know, is loving it out there. And yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame. She's still got it, for sure.
Bosie then, currently down in 5th or 6th position. 5th position, cruising at the moment on these volumes. Bosie's fighting hard here. It's looking like a different athlete at the moment here, Will Bosie.
Hit the last hold, couldn't hold the swing.
Big moment there.
Watching him climb on those volumes, he looks like he really knows how to hold them. He knows where the sweet spots were. When he went up for that left hand, like, he just went straight to a slightly different part to what everyone else is going to.
Yeah, well, I think that's potentially due to he's climbing and training here at the Climbing Works a lot now, and there's a big selection of those volumes knocking around the wall. So it proves that if you train somewhere that's got the right holds and the right route setting, it can make a difference.
Saw Michaela on the mat a moment ago, looking a little bit puzzled, trying to work her way through this quite complex 3D sequence. We've seen a few different methods now.
I have to say, Molly's method was awesome. Oh, but Michaela Tracy's got bags of power. Don't need to go feet first through that first section when you've got that much power. It's feet first now, though. Such a complicated sequence, how much power it saps out of you with these individual attempts.
For the swap onto the sausage. Get that knee bar behind it, yes.
Cranking hard. She's been on the wall quite some time here. It's a real power endurance test piece, this one. Obviously got the method down there, but can she finish it off on these top slots? Michaela Tracy's currently gone up with the wrong hand, but can she make it work? Still in 2nd position at the moment, but she's local MCs are making it pretty clear to her that she is gone up to that with the wrong hand. Oh, that's a bit of a disaster really for Michaela. She obviously can route read very well, but just that side on that level of boulder, easy to make mistakes for Will Bosie. Then can he find a top this time?
That's it, that's the knowledge. He's gone to that left, right hand side of that volume with that left hand. Switched it back, got the match this time. This looks a little bit better than just throwing out. Can he hold the swing? Oh, so close.
Good moment here at the Rab CWIF. So close to sticking that. He's looking, wow, he's just looking so comfortable on those volumes. But it's that big release at the top that's currently giving him the troubles. Okay, Tracy with just 55 seconds left. Let's have another look at Will on this top section. Ended up matching that penultimate hold this time. Just hovered the right toe out, drilled it, and went for it with absolutely everything he had. But as the feet released, rotated the body, just couldn't quite hold that final hold. Good route setting.
Michaela back on, 40 seconds now. Gonna have to climb quick. Can't quite get out onto that volume cluster again. Will Bosie's back on. We see a top now, that'll be something seriously impressive from Will. Looking good though, he's gonna have to climb reasonably fast.
I was going to say that would be a hell of a show of fitness if he could find a top after that number of attempts, that many good attempts at the last hold as well.
Yeah, that was strong from Will. Obviously it's shown that we've had a few people up that high now, and it's, you know, it really does look possible.
Well, and as we keep saying, a lot of people are using this as pre-season training and seeing where they're at compared to their fellow athletes, and I think Will Bosie's actually looking really strong right now.
Yeah, for sure. Both Brits are, I think. Will and Nathan obviously cooking on gas at the moment.
Alan Wall from Germany and Jan Hoyer also from Germany out next. Let's see what they can make of these boulders. Number 3. Let's see what the big man, see if he can crush these volumes.
Not easy. drop in.
Looks like Ellen's just figured that feet first method, but not quite got the body power, I think, as Molly Thompson-Smith had on that move. Just Molly's toes just dialed straight into that little jib on the, under the volume. And Hoyer looking for a different method altogether now. Really nice, does it all off a heel hook all the way up to the zone.
Yeah, riding that heel through that bottom sequence. Left heel now. Blows off.
Just slipping again, Jan Hoyer. Good precision that time with the toe. It's just not quite found the sweet spot there. So hard to flip your feet above your head like that and just nail it straight onto the end of that screw on. Couldn't quite locate it, unfortunately. Really close to sticking that move this time. Looks like she's having a think about something completely different.
I'm not sure what though. Can't imagine that starting with the hands switched around is going to get you anywhere. It's almost down to 2 minutes on the clock, so both athletes still got plenty of time here. Jan's had a very good go there, got quite high. Got the zone in the bank. This is good progress now from Helena. Looking a lot more solid now as she makes it across into that pinch. Gets that knee bar. Doesn't look as comfortable on the knee bar as some of the other girls. Long leg. Okay, on the hand. Set into the zone. See what she makes of this next move. Obviously we know this pocket's got to be taken with the left hand. Elects to go with the right hand.
It's such a tricky situation, isn't it? Because everybody knows, including them, that they need that with the left hand, but it's just at that stage it just seems impossible to go with your left, so you just go with your right.
I just want to go higher. I just want to go higher. I think one of the things that's going through your mind there is when you decide to go with the right hand is that there might be a chance you can swap in it, but if you know those pockets, they're not very possible back. Big man's back on, Jan Hoyer on men's 3. He's got this high before. So you can get this left heel on and control it a little bit more.
They seem to be struggling a little bit with the friction and the conditions on those volumes out there at the moment. Will Bosey didn't seem to struggle too much, actually, to be fair, with the conditions. He was quite happy with it. And then Wolf going for the jump into those two, looking for some support. Needs it with 20 seconds left pretty much on the clock.
Needs a jetpack if you ask me. Oh, well, she had one
There's
then
one,
for a moment.
Yeah.
She's smiling, she's enjoying herself. Jan Hoyer back onto the zone, but just couldn't hold the release again. Need some brushes in here now. Those holds in some prime conditions, this next climber.
Not that you're biased at all there for Nathan, but
not in the slightest. No.
So the last two competitors out on these third boulders. It's going to be the current leader, Nathan Phillips, and Chloe Collier, who's currently down in 4th position, but could put herself up a little bit higher if she finds a top, especially if she does it quickly.
Yeah. A flash on this boulder for Chloe would jump her into joint first place. Sasha, or actually put her ahead. It's a big ask. There she goes.
Can she copy Melissa Lenev then and find a top? Start just looks so hideously hard. She does manage to push it out in the corner though. Great shoulder power. It's a physical boulder from the very first move. Then you've got a lot of climbings to do. Big smackdown.
She was looking a little bit smaller there for that press and jump out. It's super hard. Over on the left side. And Nathan just rushing volume. He's already had An attempt. Let's see what he can do on this hook. Nathan back on board.
Not using Jan Hoyer's method with the right heel, just sticking to the front-on power method. Really high left foot, it's not helping on this next move. Oh, that's much better from Nathan. Phillips secures the zone hold then, guarantees his top spot once again. Opting to go high with the right foot, a bit of an ooh from the crowd. He's going to know that's a potential mistake. Yeah, as soon as his right foot went out there, the crowd sort of went ooh, just to tell him that he's gone the wrong way. All eyes back on Chloe Collier now though.
Second attempt here, looks like she's making much better progress. Into that knee bar, opting to take a chart back with her. She'll milk that a little bit. Still not got the zone yet, she needs to reach up. Get that slot, first with the left. She's going to try and match it with the right, make this really hard dead point over the top of the pocket. Goes up, has a little bit of a feel.
Such an awkward rollover move.
Yes.
Nicely done. Big support for Chloe Collier on this top move. Can she get it done? Hits it and rotates. Oh, yes. Don't fall off there. Nicely done. No worries. Chloe Collier happy on the pockets at the top.
There's a bit of bicep action up there. Yeah, she'll be happy with that.
That was good.
That's mixed it up. That's put Chloe straight back up that table into second place. 2 tops.
No tops on men's number 3 at the moment. All 3 women's boulders have been top though.
So hard when you set a really hard boulder. It's such a fine line between the impossible and the possible. But we've seen people very close to the top of this. We've seen Will drop in the last move. We certainly know it is possible. Nathan's making good progress now. Into the zone again. This time he's looking for that left heel. Crowd is starting to get behind him. Oh, that heel just came out again.
Doesn't look like we're going to see any tops on men's number 3 then. That one's been overcooked slightly, unfortunately. Really good effort, Will Bosey was the closest on that. And to be fair to the route setters, he did have one hand on it. Wasn't meant to be though. I mean, it's a fine line.
Super close. I think it's only been left in the oven for another 5 seconds, that boulder. It was almost perfect.
Someone smelt some burning. That one's been overcooked.
Not too bad though, not too bad.
Moving on then to the final boulders, current standings as they are then. Stasha Gayo, who will be coming out first, will be going into the final boulder in the top spot. Chloe Collier with that fine top in women's number 3 is second. Michaela Tracy is third. Melissa Lenev still in it. Second place. Those are the ones who could potentially podium. In the men's, Nathan Phillips, Sean McCall are the only ones to find anything really, any tops whatsoever. Let's see what Stasha can do then.
Well, if Stasha flashes this, it's all over.
No pressure. Alexi can't win. In theory, could come second though.
There we go. Buzzer's gone.
This is it.
Stasha will be sight out of her mind to get on this boulder at number 4. She's obviously on form in this final. She's hit the ground running. 2 flashes. Let's see what both these climbers can do. Alexi's first on the wall.
Straight into this mad set of volumes out on the right. Stasha just pulls on as well.
Lots of tech involved on this boulder. Number 4 for the men. Stasha making very good progress on her 4th boulder as well.
First place.
Close up to the zone hold there. It's a collection of holds on that zone volume. Didn't take the win just that time. Now it gets close.
Good angle this from the camera here. You can see how steep this wall is and how bad those volumes are. There's just nothing on them. Overhanging holds. Terrible. That's a good attempt though by Alexi. It's a really complex boulder when you get out to this fan of 3 volumes on the right hand side. A lot of movements. Get the toe hooks working and work your way back across those pinches. It's a really cool boulder to watch. Really very cool boulder to be able to climb as well. First attempt from Alexi there. He's back on for his second attempt now. And off again. Something not quite right there for him. 2 minutes on the clock, so plenty of time. Sasha also taking her time. She knows she got quite high then, and there's quite a lot of climbing to get to where she got to, going for that zone. But Alexi's back on first.
So Stasha will be really using her time wisely as we look at Alexa is in the frame at the moment because she knows that she needs this. She wants to give herself a really good shot of winning the competition here. She's realised that she needs that right foot out wide for this next move. Looking much stronger this time. Desperate undercut move here though. Hits and secures the zone hold. What's the sequence now though? The confuser up here on the zone. Tied ourselves in knots a little bit. Not happy with the holds up there with 1 minute 12 seconds left.
Yeah, I don't know if that matches definitely the method on that undercut because that left hand hold on top of that volume that she had with the right hand. It certainly looks like the better of the 2 holds. So the left hand and then the right hand, I think, on the undercut there to make progress up onto that next volume. We shall see later on. Alexi back on board now. Can he keep this right foot on as he goes to the top of this volume? Not quite.
Alexi rips off no tops for him so far, 35 seconds left. To be honest, he's looked pretty hacked off all night. He's not really enjoyed himself here that much, I don't think, Alexi. Didn't really get on with the style that much. There's 25 seconds left. It looks like he might go in for another go.
She's back on her last boulder. Nothing to lose now. Straight out to that right foothold. Will she go for the same method?
If Stasha doesn't top this, she opens the door potentially here for the other athletes. And she has. Well, the maths is simple at the moment here on the women's competition. If Chloe, Tracy or Melissa find 3 tops and none of the others do, they win. So Stasha is going to have to wait at the moment with 2 tops in 2 attempts and 4 zones.
She's got a long wait as well before Chloe comes out onto the boulders. 5 climbers away still.
Sean McCall then. Can't beat Nathan. Can anybody beat Nathan? 2 tops, 3 zones.
We don't care. We just want him to get to the top of the 4th boulder, and then we'll all be happy. Anyway, a while to go before we see Nathan. We've got Sean McCall out on boulder number 4. Went up to that flick a bit earlier there, looking very strong on this. He's into the zone. One wild move to finish, and he holds that last hold, screams to the crowd.
Nice moment. Maintains his second place as Molly Thompson-Smith finds a top as well. Well, does she?
You spoke too soon.
Does she? Oh, great moment. Nicely done for Sean McCall. Second place. He seems pretty happy with that. Nathan Phillips. How about it? Nicely done.
Amazing. Amazing.
Such an amazing performance. We didn't spot that earlier, actually. Took away the win by the end of the 3rd boulder. Man's going to be psyched.
I think Molly's left most of her hand on that finishing hole. She's holding that finger out, looking at it. I think she might have a bit of a hole there, or possibly a flapper.
Doesn't look too good.
Hopefully there's no real blood there, so otherwise she might have to step out and stop climbing.
Oh dear.
Still smiling though. I've got a hole in my hand, I'm still smiling. She's going going to run this clock down, I'm sure. She was on the first go there, straight to the last hold, almost held it. We thought we was in for a flash, didn't get it, but going to rest up for 2 more minutes.
She can't really do any damage on the leaderboard, obviously, having no tops to her name at the moment, but would definitely show some good form to her coaches that she's got potentially what it takes to get tops at this high level of competition if she finds something here. She's basically topped it already. She's got to have another go, just trying not to wobble out the top hold this time. Power lost on that first attempt, I think.
Yeah, she looked super strong on that first go. We were all eyes on the right hand side of the wall, and suddenly Molly was dropping the last move on the left hand side. Got another go in it by the looks of it. Still got some skin left on those fingers.
Well, 1:10 left. The judges will be keeping a bit of an eye on the blood situation there for Molly. If she's bleeding out, she won't be able to continue, unfortunately. Looks like she's just going to tape up instead.
Yeah, somebody's just thrown her some tape from the crowd, actually. That's what she was catching. Came in quick and fast, so she's going to tape up. She needs to move quite quickly. She's got 50 seconds left. Get the tape on and have another good go on this boulder. It'd be amazing if she could top this.
Be a good moment, wouldn't it?
Tape faster, Molly, tape faster.
Yeah, no pressure. Never has so much pressure being on someone who needs to tape up their fingers.
Speed climbing now. Discipline number 3 of the Olympics. She's done.
That was a good effort.
Finished.
It's the end of the competition for Molly Thompson-Smith. She won't progress past 6th place, unfortunately. Shows some promise, though, I think, for Molly. Didn't really get on with the jump or the slab earlier on.
And I think mentally it's been another good stepping stone for her after getting injured. Back in the game, competing on boulders.
So the women's competition is all to play for still. Chloe Collier, Michaela Tracy and Melissa Lenev could still take this away from Stasher at the moment. Let's have another look at this top from Sean McCall. It's pretty impressive, really, considering Alexei just before him really struggled. Sean was on good form here this weekend. I think he's going to be pretty confident going into the first World Cup in Meiringen in Switzerland at the start of April. Let's see if Kazanov can join him with a top on this.
Struggling with that heel. Sean was so strong through that section. Melissa
Lenev hit that undercut with some serious force. Let's see what she makes this one. She looked really strong and fit on number 3, so she's obviously got the power endurance from all that outdoor climbing that she's been doing. Oh, it's close. That's a bad hold on the left-hand side of that.
Kazanov back on. See if we can make this heel stick. Struggling to make that heel. It's a bit better.
Just got to get over that angle change on that right volume to wrap the guppy round it.
It was interesting seeing Sean flip that left hand very early. Made it look super easy, that move. Kazanov is going to the top of the volume with the right hand, getting the better part, but then really struggling to flip that left hand into the undercut.
Melissa then still has the
smiling.
opportunity to take this away and still smiling. Yeah. Previous winner of the QWIF, got the crowd well rehearsed there. When I say cheer, you cheer. Could it be this time then for Melissa Lenev? Goes straight into the zone this time. This is good. Melissa Lenev trying to finish this one off to put herself into a good position. One more move.
One hand. Top.
Yes.
Amazing, and there you can see over on the left hand side on the scoreboard, Melissa Lenev jumps straight into first place and overtakes Stasha after such a flying start from Stasha.
Awesome work.
So happy with that.
What a moment. That was absolutely brilliant. It was 2 goes in the end, but she had to fight so hard to have that much fitness left at the end of the competition after 30 boulders yesterday, 4 this morning. Melissa Lenev maybe retired from International World Cups, but is looking in fine form. 3 tops to her name then. Chloe Collier and Michaela Tracy remaining. Got to do the maths on the number of attempts now. Tracy tops it, she'll move ahead of her due to 4 zones. Chloe has got the best shout, the least number of attempts compared to Michaela. It's down to the wire.
Still on this boulder though, still on men's number 4.
Yeah, let's not forget about Kazanov. He's out there putting in one of the training days of his life at the moment. Looking to find a top. On top would put him above Alexei for a 3rd position. Remember, there is some cash on the line here as well. Be quite nice to take away a few £100.
Yep, always good. Come on. Yes, makes that flip.
This is looking really good from Kazanov now. Goes past the zone, but he's looking really tired. Can he finish it off? Oh!
Went with the left hand. That was where Sean went over with the right hand.
Yeah, off the top floor again. We've seen a lot of that tonight. Kazanov walks away. 4th is his best position.
Look at the number of attempts he's had on those boulders there. That's a lot of climbing he's put in this evening.
Bosie can still get himself up there. Can he one top and put him into 3rd? Oya can still get up there as well. Podium at the QIF, that's not to be sniffed at, I don't think.
Definitely not. Not in this final lineup. It's a strong collection of climbers in the men's field and also in the women's there.
So if Michaela tops this, she would go into a provisional 1st with 3 tops and 4 zones. Remember, the zones comes before the attempts in the order of priority. Michaela needs this. Can use her attempts as well.
Bosie opens his account on block floor. Flipping a route climber, he's still got a lot of energy to give.
Just slips.
That heel. That slip on that heel. Seems to be racing through it a little bit rather than getting that heel loaded so we can actually start pulling on it.
Here we go then with Michaela Tracy. She's just used nearly a minute of her time re-observing this boulder and trying to figure it out. She's definitely strong enough for this sort of style. Nicely done into the undercuts. Not enjoying that right-hand side pull at the moment. Seen other climbers have more success with the foot out on the right. That's it. Working so hard on those undercuts.
That was interesting seeing her really struggle in that position. Other girls have managed to pull across there quite steady. Michaela made it through the first little press and then really battled to move that foot. It was interesting seeing how different climbers perform on these boulders. Bosie back on though. See if we can nail this heel this time. A little bit slower there. You see him rolling over into it. Yes, made the flip. This is good from Bosie now.
Bosie just trying to figure out this next section. Still looks like he's got the fitness in the tank here. It's all about this next move really though, just working those nice toe hook sections. Nice route setting there. It just comes up short. Sean McCall's top of this men's number 4 is looking increasingly more impressive.
Yeah, Sean looked like an absolute animal through those last 3 moves. Well, actually the whole boulder, to be honest. He just totally ripped it apart.
Michaela's only used 1 attempt so far. It's actually used 2.5 minutes already, but this time surely she'll know her way through this section a lot better. Hasn't remembered the foot move, she does now. You can see that that side pull is really sort of squared off. It's not in cut at all. Super awkward move.
It's like it's in the final of the competition, isn't it?
I'm sure she caught that at home. I think she was describing the hold wasn't the best.
Yeah. I mean, when you see it from front on and you see the shape of the hold, it looks like it gives you this inkling that it's going to be slightly in cut, and then you look at it from that right hand side, that close up, it's terrible.
Good support here for the British climber Will Bosey, originally from Edinburgh. See if he's got the fitness left with 30 seconds then.
Looking very good onto the zone again, this time a bit faster, a bit smoother.
This is where he fell last time then. Oh, looks like he went for the all guns blazing jump to the top. It's not meant to be for Will Bosey. He's going to stay down there in 4th position.
2 British climbers just give a nice wave to the crowd here in Sheffield.
Awfully lot of red squares on the men's competition side of things. Not very many tops, only 4 tops altogether here. So Jan Hoyer down there in 6th, could go up into 3rd with 1 top. And then Wolf currently down there in 5th. Can't progress any further than that, unfortunately.
This is one of them moments for Hoyer where you just can't let your head go down. If he's got any idea of what the scores are,
yeah.
At the moment he'll know that this boulder is really crucial to the finish of his competition.
It's fine lines, such fine lines in competition climbing. Could go from last in the competition to a podium with a top here. I thought this would suit him as well, the big man. Into the lower volume, interesting method. I haven't seen that work at all yet. I haven't seen anybody try that. Blimey, just disappeared out of the shot there.
Eject.
Ejectocido, he was out of there.
Yeah, we've not seen anybody use that lowest volume yet. I think that's just on there for show. He looks good. Alan Wolf making good progress. Very, very easy
So
onto
strong.
that zone hold there.
Oh, I think she almost surprised herself that she was on the zone there.
Forgot to put a foot on the volume and just cut loose, yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to work out which one of those to use. Yeah, no, really? Yeah.
I think Jan's worked out that using the 3rd volume on the right hand side, the one with no chalk on, was a mistake. I think Percy helped him a little bit there.
But it's got to that stage in the competition where, you know, he could make a podium, but the winner's already been decided and the people want to see some tops now. They want to see the big German at the top.
Wow. Interesting to see him struggling there. Big man is really struggling at the moment. No zone for him yet on boulder number 4. See them fingerprints on that volume.
Looks like Ellen Wolf just running out of power a little bit here after a really good first attempt. Just struggled to get back to that zone or near the zone where she was before.
Quite hard first move on that ladies number 4, getting up into that volume. Watching Melissa on it, like almost jumping up into the undercut. Really committing to get the body weight high and turn that undercut into something that's really usable.
Jan Hoyer then back on. Can he get a podium here? Not looking all that promising through this bottom section at the moment, but that's much better. Not getting really anything out of that. Really struggling to get any friction really out of the heels, but look, you can see quite a lot of rubber just dragging off those volumes at the bottom.
1 minute left on the clock for these 2 climbers. This Wolf there is starting to look a little bit tired there. It's been a long weekend now.
A long weekend of a lot of hard boulders. He's really struggling on the first move now. And Hoyer on the other hand, still got his laser focus. 40 seconds left, it can be done.
Yeah, it's been done. He knows, I think he knows what will happen if he does do it. Will it be glory? Come on, Jan.
Into it for one of his final efforts. It's all about pinching that left hand and really pulling on that right heel, but doesn't quite know what to do. Doesn't look like it's going to be. Jan Hoyer stays down in 6th position.
Oh, Jan's back in. Goaded into having another go. No. The mind was willing, but the body has left the building.
Yeah, unfortunately. Well, this is it then. Chloe Collier, 2 tops so far. Crucially, she has 3 zones. She needs to find a top here to take the win away from Melissa. And Nathan Phillips, the young man from Great Britain, is on a procession lap. First place. Doesn't even need to pull on. What a fine position to be in. Pretty sure, Gaz, that'll be Nathan's first ever QWIF win.
Yeah, amazing result. Amazing result from Nathan this. He's been on form now for the last few months. Coming into the World Championships. Last few events he's been in, absolutely cooking on gas. Let's see what he can do here.
Imagine what this would do for his confidence here if he can join Sean McCall with a top on men's number 4. That'd be amazing. More importantly though, the women's competition, because it's Chloe Collier who's got a chance here. As Nathan's blasting through this bottom section. Just about to see Chloe on the left there as well. This is Chloe. Can she take the win here? Superb top from her on women's number 3. Now this is so important on women's number 4. Sticks it. Chloe Collier's in for a real shout here if she can hold it together. Nathan's also making good progress. This could be a really fantastic way to finish this Rab CWIF. Nathan drops, but importantly Chloe Collier is still on. This could be the win taken away from Melissa Leneve here. Oh! No. That was the moment. She had it. She had it. Asked for the brush. She's already got herself a podium. Oh, that was heartbreaking.
That was so close. She looked strong into that last hold. She had the arm bent, she had the lock on a little bit, but just wasn't able to hold it. It's not the best hold, it's not facing the best direction.
Yeah.
We thought she'd had it then.
I thought she did, and to be honest, I think she looked absolutely gassed up there. She's saying it's such a long competition, long night really, quite a long finals with so many people using their full 4-minute time allocation per boulder. It's been a slow burner tonight.
She's sat down on the mat still, resting up. Nathan's got the liquid chalk on.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if both these climbers don't run down this final amount of time right to the end. Let's have another look at Chloe. And this was the moment. Was this the moment that the QWIF 2019 Championship left her? Hits it with one hand, a big rotation, the feet almost was the feet that took her off. It's just so much weight going backwards.
She certainly did hold it for a lot longer than I thought the first time I saw it.
Was that because it was in slow-mo?
Was it?
Okay. She was really close to that. Final opportunity to get in touch, #QWIF 2019. Just 1 minute 25 seconds left of this competition. Really stern set of finals here. Men's competition has been hard. That man in your shot, 2 tops, only 2 other tops to Sean McCall. They've been the 2 standout athletes. Maybe Nathan can find another top here. All the bowlers done in the women's competition, which is excellent route setting. People doing all sorts of different things, and it's Chloe Collier who could potentially still do this. Oh, she looks strong again up into that zone crimp. Has she got anything left in the tank now? Nathan Phillips is also looking for a top just to show his dominance of this competition. The crowd's right behind Chloe Collier here. Both of them are looking good, neck and neck on the wall. This is it then, can she dig in and finish it off? Opts for a completely different method. Hits it with one hand, can she hit it with 2 to take away the win? Just fighting. Come on, Chloe, just got to finish it off now. She's going to run out of time. No way. Oh, no way. She had the hold in her hand twice, but couldn't get it done. Nathan didn't get it done, but it didn't matter for him. A good show at the end there of a really tough finals round here for the Rab CWIF 2019.
I think it's always a great challenge for the route setters coming into this event. It's one of the earliest events at the start of a very, very busy season, and they've not seen the competitors for quite a while competing, so they just really don't know what level they are. It's a real good test for the setters, but it's also a really good test for the competitors as well.
That's right, it's just a really good competition. Let's have a look at the final results then. Melissa Lenev, retired from competition climbing, does take away the win, first position. Stasha Gayo down there in second place. She'll be pretty happy with that, pipped at the post on the final 2 boulders. Chloe Collier, who we saw there, was so close to taking the win, ends up coming away with a bronze medal. It was tight though. Michaela Tracy was in for a shout as well on the last boulder. Ellen Wolf, come from nowhere really and does well. And Molly Thompson-Smith. And we can bring you now Melissa Lenev, who's down with Mina.
Friction labs, blocks.
No, but I needed to change.
Okay, so you just won the QWIF. Well done.
Thank you.
How was it?
Well, it's like amazing experience as always. I love coming here. Love the style. Yeah, just happy. I don't know.
You're like an extra Sheffield resident. We love the fact that you come over for the QWIF every year. You come over for the BIF every year. What is it about the competitions here that keep you coming back?
The people. I really like the British humor. City is very nice. A bit rainy for my test, but still, like people.
Cool, that's awesome to hear. And what an amazing last problem. That was really cool seeing you top that.
Yeah, thank you. Like big fight, as always.
Nice, awesome. Well done. Hey, and Nathan, you won. How do you feel?
Yeah, amazing. Yeah. Although I didn't do my aim for the comp was to top every boulder, and I didn't manage to do that. So.
Oh, disappointing, right? So actually quite a bad day.
Yeah. No, I'm well psyched. Really psyched. Yeah.
Were the boulders good? Were they everything you expected from this kind of comp?
Yeah, they were really cool. Really liked them. Really fun. Even from the qualies, semis, and finals, great boulders. Yeah.
Awesome. And so we're setting up the podium, so it's nearly time for you to go and get your prize. Well done, and good luck in your comps coming up.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
And we'll send you back.
So it's so great to hear the athletes straight off the wall. We have a final look at the men's result. Just as they're setting up the presentation, there it is, that man Nathan Phillips, not happy apparently with his performance, just taking away the win at the QWIF. Didn't top every single boulder in the competition, not a bad effort. Sean McCall will be very pleased, he's clearly in good form in second place. Alexei Rupsov with no tops ends up in third position. Will Bosey takes away a fantastic fourth. Alex Kaznov could have been better to be fair, and Jan Hoyer with just one zone probably will be pretty disappointed with that overall, but it is very, very early days in the season. And that pretty much wraps up the competition for us here in the commentary box. But Gaz, it's been interesting, it's been very hard, but it's been fun.
Yeah, that was amazing to see Nathan just at the end there, like talking to Mina. I mean, he's totally buzzing off that. It's good to see that he's hit some form, and his hard work's paid off.
Okay. The first number down is.
So we are going to stick with you whilst we do the podium presentation. Seems to be a bit of a theme here the last couple of years, guys. Men's final, just super hard. Super hard. But a couple of spectacular tops as well. And it proves that you don't always need lots of tops to have a good show.
Yeah, I mean, and an interesting final as well. I mean, it was great here because there was very little circus of the style that we've seen over the last year or two coming into the competitions. But basically just really hard climbing, but still great to watch people working hard, enjoying themselves, smiling, laughing, and like Melissa Lenev out of retirement yet again to come back to the QWIF and just.
How many times does she have to retire?
She's only come here for the weather, and that's it. And she's gone away with a win.
She came here for the fish and chips. Yeah, it was a good result from Melissa, and you could tell there she was pretty pumped up to actually win and just enjoying herself, like you say. Chloe Collier, though, from Belgium, I think she really wanted that final boulder, wanted to take away a QWIF win, and she had that finish hold in her hand twice, but couldn't get the match.
That was super close. I mean, it's hard to know how Chloe's going to feel about that. I mean, obviously she's going to be happy with her position from the event. But, she's always going to be thinking, I should have done this, I should have done that, I could have held it. But twice with one hand onto the top hole, but just unable to get that match.
Well, the pre-show we talked quite a lot about the British athletes and the British performance here at this event. Obviously it is in Britain, it's fine to focus on them. Will Bosey, has been training a lot. He's got support for his Olympic campaign as well. And I have to say, him plus obviously Nathan Phillips are looking in great shape.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they've got a very, very big season ahead of them. It'll be interesting to see on how they're going to focus on the events that are coming up, you know, the international events. And Bose is going to be eyes on the prize for the Olympics in 2020, that's for sure. So it'll be very interesting to see how they actually approach the season and how the BMC approaches the season with them as well.
Yeah, exactly. Big decisions ahead for all involved in setup. This is the team presentation at the moment. They're all pretty strong on this podium. I think it's going to be interesting getting them all up there.
Hope the podium's strong enough. Over on the right hand side, that's Team WAD, that's Team Climbing Works. Proper muscle on that right hand side on that third step.
Money being dished out between all of them. Some of these guys are going to have a pretty good weekend all in all.
Yeah, it's another win for Team Scarpa.
Those are our team winners.
It's got to be a bit of a fix here. Team Scarpa keep winning.
Yeah, that's great. That's the only reason they sponsor the event as well, so you can get these four on top of the podium. But it's a good win there for those guys. I mean, they're all homegrown athletes. No ringers in that crew.
Nice to see IFSC President Marco Scolaris over here at the QWIF as well. A bit of pre-season action for him, giving out the medals.
Yeah, it's been nice to see Marco. I've not seen Marco for quite a long time, actually, so it's great to see him at this event. Good to have him on board.
Someone gives me the winners, the results, because I haven't got the results. And they're not on the screen.
So the podium held that many people. That's a good start to the presentation, isn't it?
It's always good to have a podium disaster.
Yeah, I was really worried about step number 2, actually, with the size of Aidan's arms on there.
I'll just carry on with the conversation. We're talking about the British hopefuls in the women. Michaela Tracy, I'm not really sure if she's going to be taking on any of the World Cups this year, but Molly Thompson-Smith is obviously looking pretty good in terms of her bouldering. Obviously the leading is usually always there, and she's starting to enjoy the speed as well, whether or not Shauna, who knows really what she's going to be up to this season. She obviously didn't compete in this competition, but Hannah Delaney, Holly Tootil, the list goes on. Ellen Phillips, 16, 17-year-old climbers from Team GB who've got a lot of potential.
And I think it's very interesting you mentioned there, Molly and her attitude and change towards their opinion of speed, actually starting to enjoy it. And these climbers are starting to appreciate another challenge, and that is almost what climbing is all about. They appreciate the challenge of a slab, the challenge of an overhang, and now they're appreciating the challenge of another discipline.
Here we go then with the finalists presentation. Chloe Collier there takes a well-deserved third position. It could easily have been first if she just matched that last hold. Sasha Geo takes away second. She was leading the competition all the way through until the last boulder. But the winner, a very well-deserved winner with fantastic tops on boulders number 3 and 4, Melissa Leneve from France. Just amazing, really, just to have that much ability still, even though you retired from competitions, and makes you think maybe a comeback could be on the cards.
Yeah, great performance there. Melissa's certainly going to be happy there. Stasha, good start to the season. Brilliant.
Okay, moving swiftly on in the men's competition.
Men's podium now.
Third place from Russia, we have Alexei Rubtsov.
Alexei Rubtsov takes the third position then. Actually, no tops, but crucially, some zone action to his name.
Yeah, still looking strong out there in that final. Didn't get to the top of anything, but definitely putting some hard moves.
Sean McCall, actually, always slightly unknown when Sean comes into the QWIF. Don't know what his training's been, but he looked really strong, actually. 2 tops to his name, and really good on men's number 4.
A little bit off the ball in the last few years, but he did put on a really, really good performance, I think, this weekend. But listen to that crowd. Nathan Phillips takes his first QWIF win here in Sheffield 2019. What an amazing start to the season for Nathan.
Yeah, amazing. And just look at the respect amongst the other guys there. Alexi smiling so much to see Nathan at the top. They know he's got real potential this season. Takes away a fine win. That does conclude the competition here at the Climbing Works. Looks like we're going to go in for one more photo op. One another opportunity for everybody to try not to get badly injured on the podium.
We're just missing one person.
She's already left, heading back to Belgium.
It's better late than never. That's a strong podium lineup right there.
Nice to see great camaraderie as always on the competition climbing circuit.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming to the QWIF and making it the competition.
So that has been the Rab CWIF 2019. Gaz, thank you so much for joining us. We say thanks on behalf of Mina, who's been down at the wall. Do hope you have enjoyed the show. Catch me and Gaz at the Studio Block Masters in a couple of weeks' time. But for now, we'll see you at the next one. Thank you so much for watching.
Goodbye.